out there. Winds with it easily 60 to 70 miles per hour right in the pocket. And then also, oh, it's getting stronger. It's getting tighter. Brandon, can you give me an update? Where exactly are you, Brandon? I have you in Kingfisher. Go ahead.
You know, Lacey, we're coming up on the west side of Guthrie out by the golf course
that's what
right
I thought.
now.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
I could tell you, looking back to just barely off to our northeast, there is a substantial lowering. What I could tell you is that when we came through the back side, we were getting RFD coming around it at 45 to 50, and then as we came through it, as it was on the north side of 33, we immediately switched to south winds about 30, and then you get a little bit further, and then we're in southeast winds. So I think it's pretty close to trying to do something, and it just continues to get lower and lower as it comes into the west side of Guthrie. Back to you.
Update there. There is official tornado warning, as we've been talking about. That's why we came on the air early.
Val said tornado sirens in Crescent, so that was just before that warning.
Okay, great update there, and smart move. We were telling you this is getting closer and closer. Let's go back to radar now, Andrew, and let's look for any debris. Val is there. Brandon is right there. And guys, we have you both hot, so if you have something, just holler. We can see the circulation coming in on Crescent Springs.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Val. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so we're in Crescent. All right, we got a clearing right here. The lowering, I've been trying to say, the lowering is really, really getting low. It's as low as we've seen it since it first started. So we're in Crescent. They are sounding the tornado sirens in Crescent. It's very possible this thing could be on the ground. It is so low. Okay, we're going to have to find a better clearing. There's too many trees in the way, but it's going to be just to our west-southwest. We're on the south side of Crescent. But it's still west of the highway here, still west of the highway, but moving probably southeast. I'm watching. So there's a whole line of trees just to our west. I'm going south. We're trying to get out away from these trees so we can be able to see it. But it's extremely low. We'll just say that.
Okay. Now, we can see in your shot when the lightning strikes, and that's what we're doing. It's very dark, obviously. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, so here we go. Tornado warning is in effect for Logan County. This includes Crescent. This includes Guthrie. So if you're just now hearing your phones and the sirens we've been on, please go to the lowest level of your home. Make sure you are away from windows and doors. Get down as low as you possibly can and let this pass on by. Val is right there. Brandon is looking right at it. A very pronounced lowering with it. Hard to tell because it is dark. If it's on the ground, we're watching for debris. We do not see any debris being lofted at this moment. That can change just in the next 5 minutes, in the next 60 seconds, okay? This could be a tornado on the ground, and it looks like it is going to be just to the south, just to the southwest of Crescent. Here's the river. Here's Cedar Valley. Here's Highway 33. This is 74. This would be Portland and OKC. This is Highway 74, and the circulation is to the west of the highway.
Val's got the lowering.
Val has the lowering. Okay, let's go back to Val. Val, this is headed off towards eventually Guthrie. It may go north of Guthrie. It'll be close. Go ahead, Val.
Straight down the road. It is straight down the road. It is very low. It's very possible it could be on the ground. Very possible. I do not see power flashes, but this thing is power flash. I think we got a tornado on the ground here. We just saw a power flash just on the very west side of the highway. The circulation, the big lowering is now just another power flash right on the highway, another power flash on the highway. The lowering has crossed the highway. It's moving to the east. I think we have a tornado on the ground. Now I'm seeing there's another power flash right on the highway. It's now crossed the highway. We're still seeing power flashes. I see debris blowing. Oh, man, those flags are blowing. We got strong west winds. I think we have a tornado on the ground.
Val shot up control room.
52. 52. Tornado on the ground. Tornado on the ground.
Let's go to radar. Let's show exactly where this is. Val, we'll keep your shot up. I'm just going to get a radar update here and give folks an idea of exactly where this is and where this is headed. So let's switch over. Let's get links back in here. Keep Val shot up if we can.
3 miles south of Crescent. 3 miles south of Crescent. It is moving east. 3 miles south of Crescent. It has crossed the highway. It's continuing to go east. Definitely a tornado on the ground right there. Back to you.
It is doing damage, okay? So folks in Crescent, you've got to be in your safe spot. This is south of town. Let's go back to radar so we can show folks exactly where this is. There's Val's location. There's Crescent. It's 74. It's crossing the highway. This is on the ground between Crescent Springs and Crescent. This is going to be paralleling the river. And then let's broaden out here, Andrew, a little bit more and show folks where this is headed. Here's Guthrie. Folks in Guthrie, you have got to be in your safe spot. This has been hitting something. We're seeing power flashes. He's had some debris, a tornado on the ground at 4 o'clock in the morning on your Friday. Take it seriously. Get your friends and family up. Get into your shelter if you have one. If you don't, just listen to me. Get away from windows and doors. Get to the lowest level of your home and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible and let this pass on by. It could weaken. It could lift before it gets to Guthrie. But right now, this is making a beeline to Guthrie. And we're watching Val's shot. Here's Val's shot right now. And there is Brandon Pennell. And Brandon is in Guthrie. Winds with this are still very strong. The circulation is now paralleling the river. So let's get a storm track, Andrew. I know you have that on one of the boxes. If not, we'll get it on this one. Headed towards Guthrie, headed towards Meridian, and it's moving almost due east. It should make a little bit more of a southerly jog, which is what he's doing. He's going to adjust the times here. Folks in Langston, you need to be paying very close attention to this as well. In the tornado warning, you need to be getting into your
Val has power lines down.
Okay, let's go to Val. Let's go back to Val. Here's your time of arrival. I'll read these real quick, Val. Guthrie at 4:15. You've got about 10 minutes, Guthrie, before this is going to be right on top of you. Go ahead, Val.
Yeah, so we just saw power lines down. They're not across the road. At least I can't tell they're across the road. We have, let me put my bright lights on the side as well. Man, we're in just such a big spray. There is damage. We haven't seen crazy amounts of damage, but the visibility is horrible. We keep seeing power flashes. I think we're past the damage. I'm going to try to make my way up to the east road that goes to Guthrie. Back to you.
Okay.
Big power flash. Big power flash straight ahead of us.
Still on the ground. It still looks like this is still on the ground, this tornado. The circulation is still very tight. You can see Andrew is zooming in there on radar as this is coming into Guthrie. Val has had numerous power flashes. Let's go to Brandon Pennell. Brandon, you're watching this coming in from your west. What is your vantage point? What are you seeing there as this is approaching Guthrie? Go ahead.
Okay, Lacey, we are just on the west side of Guthrie on Highway 33, looking back to our north and northwest. I haven't seen the tornado physically yet, but it's so low and it's so dark that you can't really see up in there. We thought we saw a couple of power flashes, and obviously there has been because Val's reporting them. But I can tell you right now, we've got pretty strong south winds feeding back up into that right now as it comes into Guthrie. So we're kind of trying to let it parallel us, and then we're going to take it into Guthrie
Massive
proper.
Power flash ahead.
If you live in Guthrie, now's your get in your safe place. There's no doubt. There's a lot of movement in these clouds, Lacey, right now. Probably I'm going to guess 2 miles west of Guthrie.
Go ahead.
Open.
Right.
Pull wide.
Go ahead, Val.
Lacey, I think it's still on the ground, and I think it's straight south of us. I think it's still on the ground, and I think it's straight south of us. We continue to get power flashes the further we go south. And there's a massive power flash right in front of us. Did you see that?
Yes, we got it, Val. We saw it. Okay,
so we think it's on the ground right ahead of us still. Is it possible this thing turned to the south? It might be, but we've been going now for 3 miles and seeing power flashes still ahead of us. So I think it's on the ground, and we have straight north winds. We have a gust of 57 miles an hour.
So Val is right here on radar. Let's take radar full if we can. We'll keep his shot up.
It's very possible it might have went a little east of the highway, but okay, I'll let you know. We see another one.
Okay, great update there, Val. This crossed the highway. He had power lines down. We're seeing the power flashes off to his east. So, Andrew, let's put a distance on this. How far is this from Guthrie? Now, the main line, big broad area of circulation is going to approach Guthrie.
Do you want this on because south of where kind of the circulation is, that is a massive ball of wind.
Sure.
So even if you're not getting a tornado, this still indicating winds of, let me query some of this real quick. And this isn't crazy high up. Obviously, this is coming from TLX, which is south of Oklahoma City. but not very far south, and you're getting winds of 80 to 85. If you get that down to the surface, that in itself can cause damage as straight line winds and power flashes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So if this is not a tornado on the ground, which it looks like it absolutely is or has been, you're at least going to get this really strong wind punch coming in, and that is going to come into Guthrie. Where the circulation has been the tightest is just on the northern edge of that. And let's go here and see if we can get shear rate popped up, if it's kind of pinpointing that same area, and it is. This would be north of Highway 33. Brandon, as you look off to your north of the river, that's where the circulation is the tightest. I know you've got this big ball of wind coming in as well, but that's where the circulation would be the tightest, which is still going to be that where the tornado would have crossed. 74 moving east, may go just north of Guthrie, between Guthrie and Lowry, okay? Heading up towards Pleasant Valley eventually, but this is going to come across Highway 74. This is going to come across I-35 and eventually off towards Langston. If it starts to make more of a southerly jog, it's going to head towards Meridian, and we'll see what it does right now. Let's go back to debris detector and take that back for just a minute and see what we've got there. We know we have damage as far as power lines go and some tree damage. Val was seeing this could have been the tornado right here. We'll see. If nothing else, we've got straight line winds that are doing damage. And easily could be a tornado in there, rain wrapped. It looks to me like this could still be on the ground north of the river. There's the latest, and we'll have to watch this whole area. You can get spin-ups along this entire area when you get that much wind punching in. It is very windy along Highway 33 right now, between 74 and I-35. If you know anyone that's traveling up and down I-35, tell them not to do so. You've got to seek shelter. You cannot be in a vehicle as this is coming in. There's the hook and the big punch of wind. It looks to me like a whole, winds could be 75, 85, 90 miles an hour.
Brandon wanted us to know there's no sirens going on in Guthrie right now.
No sirens in Guthrie? This is why we tell you not to wait on sirens, okay? Guthrie, you have got to be waking up your friends and family. If the sirens aren't sounding, I don't know, they might have been struck by lightning. That happens. That happens frequently, that we lose power to sirens. And in the middle of the night, sometimes that's what people rely on. Make sure your loved ones are paying attention to this and are seeking shelter and are doing the right thing, because this storm means business. And if you live in a mobile home, if you have winds to 75, 80 miles per hour, that can topple a mobile home. That can do significant damage. If you get a tornado, it could be worse. It's not a safe spot, and mobile home is not the place you can be. And this is moving 35 to 40 miles per hour, almost due east to the east, southeast slightly, okay? The rotation, as we've been telling you, is on the northern edge of this big punch of wind. And like Andrew was querying, winds in that darker blue are 80 to 90, and that is making a beeline maybe just north of Guthrie. Let's zoom in and see if we can get some of the streets on, Andrew, and give folks an update. I know we have our Guthrie cam, if that's pointed off towards the west. If someone in the control room can get that, or even a little bit more north of west, would be great. But there it is, east, this would be the east-west road. 760 is where the circulation is, and I'm trying to see what that road is. What is this one right here, Andrew? Yeah, zoom out just a little bit. Broadway. Okay, so Broadway and east-west 760 road, and that's going to head right over to 77 or Sooner Road and eventually cross I-35. It looks like the circulation will be very close to Guthrie High School, if not the north sides of Guthrie. It's not the north sides of Guthrie. Let's go now back to Brandon. Brandon, you're watching this. You're in Guthrie for folks there. The circulation looks like it might go just north of town, but it is a tight circulation, and there is so much wind within this. It's about, we're about to lose power in Guthrie, I imagine, if we haven't already. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, Lacey. So we are in Guthrie right now, coming through Guthrie. We're trying to get to the east side of Guthrie over on 35, where it's a little bit higher we can see, because Guthrie's so hilly right now. One thing I can tell you is we haven't heard any tornado sirens going off in Guthrie at all. And there's quite a bit of traffic, honestly, for 4 o'clock in the morning. We've even seen a few people out walking around. So, you know, I haven't seen any power flashes in the last 2 miles, but I've been pretty much in town. So probably in another 1 minute, we're going to be at I-35 a little bit higher. We can look back to the west and the northwest to see exactly where this is. But yeah, I can guarantee you can definitely expect 75 to 80 mile an hour winds with the RFD. Just from what we went through earlier before it was tornado warned. So give me about 1 more minute, and we're going to be somewhere where we can see really good. Back to you.
Okay. Great update there. I don't know why folks would be out walking around and doing that sort of thing right now. Please reach out to your friends and family. If you're watching us in Guthrie, get into a safe spot, seek shelter. This is going to go likely on the north sides of town, but the south sides of Guthrie, you could get this. If it's not a tornado, you could get 80 to 90 mile per hour winds. That is a life-threatening wind. That can topple over trees. We've lost people in Oklahoma from trees falling onto homes, falling onto vehicles, debris flying around, power poles. This type of wind can do significant damage. Val had multiple power flashes as this batch of wind and that potential tornado. Val couldn't see the tornado, but Val could see the power flashes. He could see debris being lofted and all the wind blowing on by. We have circulation now coming across the north side of town, crossing the river, right where the river crosses Sooner Road, north of Guthrie, and the tornado warning, it does continue. That's the area where we've got the tightest, the inflow feeding into it and where the circulation is happening. And that basically is going to go so close to basically downtown Guthrie, but I think it is going to go just north of town. But Guthrie, you're about to get wind. I mean, the wind could be as strong as a weak tornado. That's what I'm telling you. This type of wind can be very, very dangerous. What is some of the queries, some of the values that you're getting here, Andrew, and some of the blue? And this
Seen
is going
a
to be
lot in the low 90s.
Okay. It may not be reaching the ground.
2,000 feet above ground.
So just above your head, 2,000 feet up, radar is indicating 90 mile per hour winds. 90 mile per hour winds. And this is running from basically Highway 33 in Santa Fe to now Highway 33 in Kelly, coming over towards Phillips Road will be next. And this is going to come right into Guthrie and the south sides of town. Now it's almost there.
Lacey, Guthrie cam is now pointed to the west if you want the
Can we take that
control
control room? Because Guthrie is about to just get absolutely rocked with wind. The tornado threat is now just to the north of Guthrie, but as far as Guthrie proper, this camera is going to look a whole lot different in just a few minutes when those winds start to hit. So control room, can someone just keep an eye on that? There we go. This is the view we want. That's Guthrie looking off towards the west, and just leave it right here. And as that wind comes to town, just holler at me. It's going to look like a hurricane. These are hurricane force winds about to hit the town of Guthrie, and not to mention just torrential rain and lightning. Let's get back to radar and kind of show you exactly where we're watching for that area of spin, and just holler at me. Leave it up. Great idea. Great idea. Let's just leave it there. And then there's Brandon Pennell. There's Val. Val had to cross over damage from this storm. He's on Highway 33. He's blasting east, now crossing. Is it crossing I-35, Andrew? It's going to be close. Just north of 33 is going to be the circulation, and then 33 does the little jog. Yeah, there it is. There's the spin. This could be a tornado on the ground. We'll see between basically Sooner Road or 70, the highway there, crossing I-35. And he's looking for debris in the location. It's hard to say.
Not seeing much that's really standing out.
Nothing standing out that's saying, hey, this is now we got a donut hole, though, in precip, which is not a good sign because that's lighting up with where we have the circulation. That's going to be north of 33 and, oh gosh, right on I-35. Basically I-35 and 33. Brandon has been right there. Brandon, the circulation looks to me like it's just to your north if your GPS is updating, and it is because I see where you are. Go ahead, Brandon. Give us an update.
Okay, Lacey. So right now we're just now getting into the rain. The core's just now coming on us. It's almost a whitewash. I know you can't tell that in the shot, but we're taking, I'd say, west winds at about 40 right now, so nothing substantial. But the biggest wind is probably still just off to our west and southwest, wrapping back up around this. Okay, now our rain is letting up a little bit, kind of going eerily calm. So I can't make out the circulation, but I can tell you we're pretty close to it. Just by looking at the surrounding of what the rain, we might be in a little bit of rain curtains, actually, to tell you the truth. That's kind of why I got because now they're picking back up and they're coming in from the northwest. So I would imagine that circulation is probably just off to our north, maybe a half a mile, maybe less, maybe just we're right on it, right on the outside edge of it.
Yeah, you absolutely are, Brandon. I can see your GPS, and you can just see in your shot when the winds go eerily calm and then change direction as a storm chaser. That tells you exactly where the circulation is and exactly what you are experiencing, and that's right where you don't want to be unless you're one of our storm trackers. That's for sure. So Brandon, right there in the area of circulation, it is just to his north by, like he said, less than a mile, and not seeing anything on the ground, but that doesn't mean that there's not, because it is dark and it would be wrapped in rain. Let's go back to radar and let me show you. There's Brandon right there at the truck stop. We were talking about that, a week ago, it seems like. And there's the circulation. Oh, did it just push southeast a little bit? It might have just pushed east-southeast a little bit with that last scan. It's actually broadened out some. But the strong winds, okay, we were showing you our Guthrie cam. Well, right whenever the winds hit, we lost power to our Guthrie cam. So there that went. But that just tells you folks in Guthrie likely without power. And maybe not everybody, but Guthrie, south side of town, the wind is blasting through. As far as a tornado and damage, but the problem is we keep talking about the tornado, and I don't want folks to think that, oh, just because we don't have a tornado doesn't mean we don't have damaging winds. The winds with this storm could be as strong as a tornado. The circulation is just near Brandon, and it has weakened some. Not seeing anything jumping out on shear rate saying, hey, this is on the ground. We're not seeing that at the moment. Circulation may be still a little tighter and lifted farther north. North? Go ahead,
Lacey,
Andrew.
I was just going to let you know they have the video of those power flashes earlier that Val had.
Let's go do it. Yeah. This was earlier, and this was going to be just south of Crescent. Let's go to this video if we can and show you when we think we had the tornado on the ground. Is that the video playing on the side?
Hey, we're getting power flashes.
Or was that live?
Yeah,
that was live. Let's go to Val. Is that live?
I think that's live. He just said he had power flashes.
Okay, let's go to Val. Val, this is live, not your video from earlier. Give us an update. I saw that power flash in your shot. Go ahead.
Yeah, power flash in the shot. I'm not for sure this is the tornado. It's very possible this is strong straight line winds. I just don't know for sure. But it's going to be east of us and a little northeast. So it's going to be left of the main road that goes through Guthrie. It's going to be just to the north of the main road in neighborhoods, I'm thinking. To the left, we've seen 2 or 3 power flashes right now. So we're going to watch real close. Man, there's cars. I've never seen this much traffic in Guthrie this time of night. So anyway, I'm not for certain if it's a tornado or not, but there are definitely power flashes going on. So there's definitely wind damage being done in Guthrie. We're going straight through Guthrie. I'll let you know if we see it again. Back to you.
Okay, great update there. We were seeing the same thing, and we lost our Guthrie cam right as we were trying to show you the winds hitting town, as you can imagine. And the tornado sirens, at least when Brandon was there, were not sounding, likely due to power outages. That's why you cannot rely on tornado sirens. The winds are just howling in Guthrie, in and around Guthrie, and for whatever reason, Guthrie, you're awake and running around doing your thing this morning on a Friday at 4 a.m. I want to show you radar and show you what's going on, because the storms are severe that are coming into Oklahoma City, that are coming into Edmond, that are coming down to Minco. So we have the tornado warning going, and this continues now for east of Guthrie. Stay in your shelter, stay in your safe spot, and we'll get back there in just a minute. Andrew, let's zoom on in and let's go back to Edmond and let's go back down to Oklahoma City. Hank Brown is right here watching these storms as well as that line advances. And I'll tell you, it's just a solid line. We like that. If everything is just a straight line, you don't have any areas of spin, you don't have circulation, but you can still have strong winds. Now the winds within here, 50 to 60 miles per hour. We can have power outages in Oklahoma City, and this could ramp up. It could. Radar is indicating 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. That is enough to cause power outages. That's enough to bring down some small tree limbs. You don't want to drive in this. So if you're about to hit the roadways, or your friends or your family are, please let them know, hey, don't do that. Just let this pass on by. This is moving quickly. This will be out of here in 30, 45 minutes. It's going to be out of Oklahoma City, and we're just left with some rain. But the leading edge is moving in right now. So winds 50 to 60. Andrew, do you have power outages? I know you were saying that.
80 mile an hour winds.
None in Logan. Okay, Brandon, what was that?
We got 70, 80 mile an hour winds out of the northeast.
Okay, let's go to Brandon. There you go. Hurricane force winds now. Tell us exactly where you are, Brandon.
Okay, we're going to be about 1 mile east of Guthrie on Highway 33. The tornado is going to be just off to our southeast if it's still on the ground. We're east-southeast. We're taking about 70 to 80 mile an hour northeast winds ripping back down Highway 33 and blinding rain. So, you know, and I think probably the tornado, if it's still on the ground, is going to be completely rain wrapped now too. So that just adds insult to injury. There's still quite a bit of lightning. Miraculously, we have no hail, but I mean, just a tremendous windstorm, regardless if the tornado's still on the ground or not. And then the pockets of gusts maybe a little higher than that, but we had sustained 75 to 80 for about 30 seconds there, probably on the northeast wrap as it was pulling back into the tornado. And we're still probably taking every bit of 65 right here out of the north, maybe northwest now, as the storm continues off to the east. Back to you.
In your shot, I mean, it does. It looks like he is in the eye of a hurricane or in the outside of walls of a hurricane. The winds will be calm in the eye, but it does look like he has got extreme winds, and that's what he's been in, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. And this is what we've been showing you on radar. So if you don't get a tornado in Logan County, the winds that you have could be as strong as a weak tornado. Let's go back to radar. We'll show you where Brandon is and then also where the circulation is. There's the hook. It has now crossed 33. It's going to be south of Langston, between Langston and Meridian, going to be north of Highway 105, and it is tracking off to the east and still within this. Basically, what is that, Hiwassee Road and Henny Road? It's in between those two. That's the circulation, and basically the north portion of this is going to be County Road 75 down to 770. If you live in this area, you have very tight circulation in and around your area. If nothing else, very extreme winds, but could have a tornado that is rain wrapped. Be in your safe spot. Lowest level, center portion of your home, and let this pass on by you. The strongest winds are south of there, which you typically see in this type of a storm. So you've got the area of circulation right here, and then the big punch on the rear flank downdraft punching in around it. And this is where you get very strong winds. If Brandon were a little further south, the winds are even stronger than what you were seeing in his shot. And this is going to continue off to the east. So you get ready from Agra to Tryon to Kearney, possibly as far north as Cushing, but this should get a little bit more of a southerly shove, and Andrew's going to get this storm track done. While he's doing that, I just want to point out, while the storms are severe from Union City to Mustang to the Village to Edmond, they are not tornadic. There's nothing tornadic in there, and the winds aren't as strong as what we're seeing in Logan County. Val and Brandon, they are right on this, and that's track good now, Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay, there's Kearney at 445, Tryon at 447, Agra at 453, Avery at 502, Cushing at 502, and Drumright at 514, Shamrock 515, and Depew at 521. What you could get down the line from this is more strong winds. More strong winds. If you don't get the tornado, you could get stronger winds of 70 to 80 to possibly 90 miles per hour. The tornado warning is going to continue with this portion of the storm because it continues while it bows out. All it takes is one little kink, one little area where inflow hooks into that to give us the chance for another spin up and another tornado. So the entire portion is warned from Meridian down to Arcadia, down to Luther, and that bow of that storm, like I said, if you don't get a tornado out of this or a spin up, winds like what you were seeing in Brandon's shot are headed your way of 70 to 80 to 90 miles per hour. And that's enough to topple over trees, definitely enough to bring down power lines, maybe even power poles. So Andrew's putting a track here on the latest portion and the most recent portion where that bow is forming, where the wind punch is happening, and where a brief tornado could happen.
The whole
Great
thing,
idea,
right?
Andrew.
So
Go ahead, give us the track.
How we can get some of those spin-ups on kind of any of that leading edge of that really high wind. So we're just going to take the whole thing, because even if you don't get a tornado out of it, it's still very strong wind that can do damage on its own. So like Luther at 433, Fallis, 435, Wellston 440, Kearney 445, Bell Cow Lake 449, Chandler 453, Sparks 501, and Stroud 512. I also wanted to mention real quick, with the severe storms that are moving through and into Oklahoma City right now, we've extended the severe thunderstorm watch for this complex of storms for Seminole, Hughes, McLean, Grady, Cleveland, Pottawatomie counties as we're watching all these storms move through. So the severe thunderstorm watch has been extended as we're expecting those storms to continue to press through, and they've been able to maintain that severe strength.
Okay, yeah, great update there, because that's very much warranted. These storms have not fallen apart. They have not weakened. The back edge have. We've been telling you that. From El Reno to Minco, Colony, all the way back into what's going on in western and southwest Oklahoma. Not severe. Severe right here in the Oklahoma City metro. So yeah, let's just keep zooming in here and take a look at what's going on with the wind. So winds 55 to 60 over Edmond, over Gaillardia, over Bethany, over the outlet shops, back down to Mustang. For folks in OKC, Hank is right there. Hank, you've been in and around the area, kind of sampling some of the winds in OKC. I'm looking at your shot. Not much going on there that is too threatening. You don't want to drive in this. If you can wait to hit the roadways a little bit longer until this passes by, do so. What about hail, Andrew? I'm not seeing much on the way of hail in reflectivity.
Yeah, hail stayed pretty small with this.
Okay.
It's not like that storm that we had near Ponca City earlier that was also tornado warned. Hail's remained fairly low. This is mainly a wind event.
So for folks, if you're just joining us here at 4:30, we had a tornado earlier this morning around the Marland area, and especially just east of Marland. Did do some minor damage. We'll be checking on that. And then south of Crescent, it looked like a tornado. If it wasn't, the winds were absolutely ferocious, 80 to 90 miles per hour, right in an area of circulation. It looked like a tornado. Val couldn't see the actual funnel, but he could see debris and he could see power flashes. And so we know we have damage there north of the highway. That storm came into Guthrie. We had a lot of power outages and power flashes across Guthrie. Now the strongest wind field with that storm is coming into Logan, northern portions now, kind of the northeast corner of Oklahoma County, and headed into Lincoln County. The rest of this in OKC, not tornadic. Go ahead, Andrew.
On the note of strong winds, we did get reports from the scanners, Edmond scanners, trees down on May south of 33 road is blocked.
Okay. That's very possible. We're so saturated too. So even if we don't have winds, like we're getting like an 80, 90 mile an hour wind, it doesn't take wind that strong when you've had this much rain to get trees to topple over, which can be very dangerous and can even be deadly. Okay, so trees, you don't want to be under one, especially right now. And we've got winds. The winds are not as strong. 50, we might get some gusts to 60 in Edmond, in the Village, back down to basically I-35 and further south. Real quick, let's go back to the tornado warning and then we'll go back down the severe portion of the line. There's the tornado warning, which includes Meridian, Merrick, Fallis, Wellston. If you know anyone that's traveling on the Turner Turnpike heading up to Tulsa or back down from Tulsa, you cannot be on the Turnpike as this is approaching, and it will be on the Turnpike here in the next 10-15 minutes. This is a very strong storm. This could be deadly for anyone in a high-profile vehicle, any vehicle at all traveling on the Turner Turnpike. If you are listening to us on Magic 104.1, hey, good morning. I know you're broadcasting. Thank you guys for doing that to give folks this warning. You cannot be in a vehicle right now. You need to be in your shelter. You need to be in your safe spot that's away from windows and doors, lowest level of your home, and let this storm pass on by. The circulation with it, there's nothing extremely tight that says, hey, we have a tornado on the ground, right? Well, yeah, not seeing anything at the moment. That looks kind of odd, kind of weird. Probably a false return there. But watching for any area where we for sure have circulation and it looks like everything is kind of all one direction. It's a big punch of wind. But the problem is what we've had happen when we've had these punches of wind is you start to get one little area where you get inflow and things crank up quickly. And that's why the tornado warning is out. That's why the tornado warning is out. Val is closing back in on the strong area of wind. Val and Brandon do an amazing job keeping up with this storm, where we know we had multiple power flashes earlier from it earlier this morning. What is that? Near Lake Hiawassee, Arcadia. Andrew, what does velocity look like? Okay, good. Nothing crazy. You got to watch when you get these showers pulled in to this area and you start to get a little hook or a little finger kind of start to form and wrap around. That's all it takes. So that's what we're watching for. And you can see the big bow right there punching out near Redbud Energy, near Fallis, near Merrick, headed towards Wellston, headed towards Sparks, and eventually over to Stroud. And then down the line, still everything kind of behaving itself. Hank, let's go to Hank Brown real quick. Hank is in Oklahoma City while Andrew gets that storm track for us. Let's go to Hank. Hank, tell me exactly where you are. I'm looking at your GPS and give us an update. Good morning, Hank.
MacArthur, and I just got hit with the leading edge, and the winds in here are probably 50, give or take, 50 plus. And like I say, I'm just staying right on the edge of the rain. I can see the base just out in front of me, watching for any kind of little, QLCS type spin-ups. I don't see anything down here in this part of the state. I have been watching a little area that was just south of Mustang, between Mustang and Tuttle, where I could see the wind wrapping just a little bit, but that I got hit with outflow. So primarily this part of the storm is outflow dominant, but it's moving very fast as this whole line is pushing off to the east and southeast. So right now, coming through the city, there's winds out of the north. You can probably see the rain blowing sideways in my shot that are better than 50 miles an hour, give or take, as this whole storm is moving off to the southeast. Back to you.
Okay, that's good news from Hank and Patty. This is what was going on with that line portion of the storm earlier this morning. He's talking about the outflow. So there's a cool north wind rushing out away from the storms through OKC all the way down to Mustang. That whole portion of the line, you can't get any warm, humid air feeding into the storm. It's gusting out. So while you still have strong winds, the storms are severe and you don't want to be driving in it, you don't have that threat of a tornado like we have on the northern end of it. So really what we've got going on is this bow that's forming, and then on the north end, we've got kind of a bookend, and that is what produced the tornado back over here near Crescent, south of Crescent, with the power flashes that Val was on. There's Val and Brandon getting into position with this storm that's moving, as Hank said, so very quickly. Moving at, is it 45, Andrew?
Yeah, I've got it set at 45 right now.
There's the track. Now, he's included the tornado warning portion of the storm, but also the whole line down to Tuttle where the severe weather is. So this is going to be in Tinker in 3 minutes. Tinker in 3 minutes. Moore at 4:42. Newcastle at 4:45. Chandler at 4:49. Norman at basically 5 o'clock. Stroud at 5:08. Stroud, you're in the tornado warning at 5:08. Norman, just before that. And then Shawnee at 5:16. Henrietta all the way down here, pushing all the way to the east by 6 a.m. By 6 a.m., the storms are here. Okay, so in an hour, that's how far they're going to travel and how quickly they're moving. Just with that much forward motion, you get damaging winds pretty easily out of the clouds above, and it doesn't take much to get a tornado. This is looking better as far as weaker to me. Andrew, what do you think?
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's obviously still got some rotation, but it's not nearly as tight as it was when it was just to the west of Guthrie, heading into town there. And obviously winds also not quite as high, even the straight line winds, not quite as high as what we were seeing when it was moving into the Guthrie area. Remember when we were seeing radar indicated winds 80 to 90 miles per hour? Those have come down significantly. These more 50, 60.
Yeah, 50 to 60.
Certainly positive there.
Great. Wonderful. Let's just keep getting this a weekend as it pushes southeast. It may not do that. It may not do that because it spun up quickly. We've had 2 of these now this morning that have done that. And control room, if we get that video from Val from earlier, is it good? If you get it, just let me know once we get that video that he had from the power flashes and he was seeing this really start to develop south of Crescent. Him and Brandon were both right there. As far as hail goes, maybe some golf ball size hail near Agra. Maybe some golf ball size hail moving into the Lincoln County area near Fallis. Not much in the way of hail, though, out of this. It's really not the deal. It's wind. It's all about the wind. Let me take you back. This is earlier and show you some of the video from Val from the Crescent area. Watch his winds. Look at the power flashes. Power flash, winds were to 50 to 60 miles per hour. Look at that. Looks like he's in a hurricane where he is. And then the flashes down the highway from him. And this went on for quite some time. I don't know who those folks were out traveling, but my goodness, that's not a very good place to be at all while this was moving on in. Now, was this a tornado? It easily could have been. We think it was a tornado. Obviously, you can't see it. It's wrapped in rain, but it is right where that circulation was. Power flash after power flash. That is winds doing damage. Moving through the Crescent area, southern portions, southwestern portions of Logan County, and this stayed right along 33 as it made its way off towards the east, right into Guthrie. And the circulation went north of Guthrie, and some of the strongest winds went just south of downtown Guthrie, south of town. So there are some of the power flashes. Thank you, control room. That is what Val had earlier this morning. I think that was just about 4 a.m.
By the way.
Go ahead, Val.
By the way, yeah, I was going to tell you that we saw, you were talking about not seeing it all the way to the ground. We saw a funnel.
You did?
And it crossed the road. Yes, it was a funnel about probably 80 to 90% of the way to the ground.
Oh, okay.
The bases were so low, And I mean, I'm going to say it was 50 yards above the ground.
Okay.
When
that's
we
a
started
tornado.
seeing power
Yeah.
flashes. So it was an absolute tornado
Absolutely.
for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you for saying that, Val.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was a tornado.
So,
go ahead, Val. What are you seeing now as you're coming in kind of on the back edge of this circulation?
Yeah, things
Oh, you just dropped off, Val.
strong winds.
Okay, he's in a bad cell area right now, coming in behind that. We'll get back with him in just a minute. Val, your phone just kept breaking up there and cutting out. So here's Val, by the way. Here's his GPS. So here's Meridian. He's right on the highway, and he is blasting east. So he did see the funnel there, and he absolutely saw it was a tornado. So that's what we were saying as it was occurring, and it was crossing the highway, moving off towards the east. So we've had 2 tornadoes this morning, one up near Marland and one of them south of Crescent. It may have lifted by the time it got to North Guthrie. No way to say for sure. The circulation was still very tight from Crescent all the way to Guthrie. And this is what's left of it. This is what's left of it. This is why the tornado warning is in effect for Kearney, for Wellston, for Chandler, for Sparks, for Davenport, over to Stroud, all the way down to Arlington. It is because of that circulation that Val was on, that Brandon was on earlier. Andrew's going to update the storm track. I'll tell you, it's a far cry from what it was. It is nothing like what it was at that time. And it's more of a wind line event at the moment. Still, straight line winds easily 60 to 70 miles per hour coming into Kearney, and could crank back up. It could spin back up. That's why the tornado warning continues. And we want you in your safe spot. We want you in your shelter, taking this seriously in Chandler and Sparks and to Stroud. And for anyone living out here in Lincoln County along Highway 18, along Highway 377, and anyone traveling, I hope there's no one on the Turner Turnpike as this is coming in. This is a very dangerous storm crossing the Turner Turnpike. There's the latest time of arrival. Kearney at 4:44, the Iowa Casino at 4:46, Belle Cal Lake at 4:48, Chandler at 4:52, and Davenport at 5 o'clock in the morning. All right, let's put back on reflectivity and just kind of show the broad view here. We've got more storms that are severe coming right across Oklahoma City, right across Norman, right through Edmond, and they are moving. But once this first line moves through, look what's going on back behind it. Just some showers, nothing to worry about. So if you're waking up right now and you're joining us, your phones have been going off and you're trying to figure out what it is you need to do, just get away from the windows here in the Oklahoma City metro area, from OKC down to Moore, down to Norman. Let this storm pass on by. It's got winds out of the northwest, 45 to 55. You might get gusts to 60, which is a severe storm, but we're not seeing much in the way of 60-mile-per-hour winds.
And Lacey, one of the nice things that I just kind of drew on there, that little white line, these storms here in the Oklahoma City metro area have that gust front out ahead of the convection of the main thunderstorm activity. So that is certainly a plus. I was looking at, you look at east of Tuttle, you see that little appendage there.
That.
Well, that's kind of where those two little outflow boundaries meet. It's hard to tell if that's going up kind of right on the outflow boundary, if that's a true little appendage or hook or spin trying to form. But if that is actually behind where that gust front is, then that obviously helps a whole lot with any of the tornadic risk with that leading edge of this thunderstorm, having it outflow, starting to produce the outflow.
That limits the tornado threat. When you get this gust front or the winds rushing out away from it, they're not getting anything feeding into it, and it can't really get much in the way of spin. But that area is interesting, and it does look like the gust front may be wrapping in right there. Hank, this is going to be just to the west of Newcastle. This is what you were talking about just a little bit ago. I know Hank is watching this. There is a little bit area of a wind field, and the gust front may be tucking in right there between Bridge Creek and Newcastle. It definitely has the look to it, almost like a QLCS. It's where you get an area of spin along a line, and all it takes is one little area where the front tucks back in, and boom, you can get an area of spin and possibly a brief tornado. We're not saying that at the moment because the winds are fairly weak, but that's something to watch, definitely, Andrew. And I know Hank was talking about that just a bit ago. What is this south of Luther, between Luther and McLeod, another area where it looks like things have kind of tucked back in, and just another area of circulation. Not broad, it's not very tight, it is broad. But that's another area to watch. What's going on up here between Wellston and Belle Cal Lake? Still circulation there. Shower being pulled up into Parkland. That's still a mean storm. I mean, it's still a hook. It's still a big area, a big mesocyclone for sure from Kearney. This is the storm that we've been tracking since Kansas that has made its way from Woods County all the way to here. And tightened up so quickly and produced that tornado near Crescent. And we know we had multiple power flashes. We're gonna have damage. Valcross power poles were down and power lines down on the highway there. Here is Chandler. So Chandler, this is getting very close to Chandler. Nothing screaming that a tornado's on the ground with it at the moment. And it is moving down towards eventually Sparks and off towards Stroud. All right, let's work our way down the line here, looking for anything else, because I just saw this near Choctaw, another area where it looks like the gust front's out in front of it. It shouldn't do much, but these storms, this is what they want to do. They're in an environment where the low-level winds are favorable for spin, for circulation. There's another one near Newcastle. That's the one we were just watching, and it does look like that is feeding in.
Going to send a picture.
Go ahead.
Tornado and a video in the group meet.
Brandon, you're hot. You're going to send that some tornado video you got?
Yeah, we have some video, a short clip video off of camera, and then a still picture of it.
Yeah, great. Get it in here, and then we'll get it on air. So Andrew, when you get that, we can just send it to news, and they can get that flipped for us. So that is Brandon's shot. Brandon, you're still in the heavy rain. You got all the way over through Payne County. Just give us your location, Brandon, of where you are, what you're seeing with this severe storm as it's crashing off towards the east. Go ahead.
Okay, Lacey. Yeah, we're coming in on Perkins right now. We got kind of far removed from the circulation just with all that chaos that was going on. So. We're doing our best to navigate back to the east so we can drop back to the south. But for probably since Guthrie all the way to Perkins, it's been blinding like what it was when we were in Guthrie with the 80-mile-an-hour northeast winds wrapping back around that circulation. But it's blinding rain and a steady 30 to 35-mile-an-hour wind since the circulation's moved off to our south. But we're coming through Perkins right now. We're going to continue east, probably another 10 miles to Highway 18, and then reevaluate and try to drop south, maybe get back out in front of it, try to stay with it the best we can just in case it does something again. Back to you.
You're doing a great job, Brandon. Excellent job. You, Val, Hank, always so appreciated when these storms, it's night. It is so very dangerous, the driving conditions that they are dealing with and what they're handling while also warning folks of what they're seeing. It's a high-stress, high-pressure situation, and they are the best. So, Brandon, thanks for staying up with that. Let's go now a little bit further down on radar, and we'll take a look here. Is it tightened up some? Goodness gracious. I just looked at it. It didn't have that kind of feature to it, and now it does between Kearney and Wellston. This is crossed over Wellston, coming close now into Chandler. The circulation is going to be over Bell Cow Lake, and look at that. It's now got more of a punch. You can see the outer bands here of the supercell embedded in this line, and then the warm air feeding into it, and that's what this is right here, and that's where you start to get tighter and tighter winds flowing around. So let's zoom in if we can closer here into Bell Cow Lake. Andrew, I know you're doing 50 things over there, and just take a look. We just got another update of the circulation, and this is going to be north of the Turner Turnpike, north of Route 66, and yeah, it's tightening back up. It's starting to tighten back up. This is going to be to the northwest of Chandler by probably 5 miles or so, coming right over Bell Cow Lake. And we're seeing an even tighter area where we're getting winds circulating and could be getting into the low levels where a tornado could develop. So for folks on the north side of Chandler, north of the Turner Turnpike, if we lapse this, I think it is moving kind of east, southeast, down towards Chandler. You need to be in your safe spot, Chandler. You do. Yeah, it is. Wow, it is moving much more southerly now. It's coming right towards Chandler, right over Bell Cow Lake. And this is going to cross the Turner Turnpike. It's going to cross Route 66 near Chandler. Tornadic circulation. Now, is a tornado on the ground? May not be, but it is close. It is definitely close. That is a tighter circulation than what we've seen in the last 15, 20 minutes for sure. and it is moving at about 45 miles per hour. You're not going to see this. This is not going to be a tornado you're going to see. It will be wrapped in rain. So don't try to go out and look at it. Just get into your shelter, get into your safe spot. If you don't know what a safe spot is, that's going to be a place in your home away from windows and doors that you can get to in the lowest level of your home and hunker down. If it's a closet, great. Take blankets with you. If you want to take a mattress with you, put some helmets on the kiddos if you have them, and just wait this thing out. Let it pass on by. It's moving quickly. It'll be in and out very rapidly, and then you're going to be good to go. Okay, good to go. Circulation is now crossing the Turner Turnpike and Route 66. It may end up going just to the west of Chandler, but it is headed down to the south. And what does it look like on velocity now, Andrew? It had tightened up. It really had. It's about to cross the highway. Shear rate might have been just a little bit fast. It's about to cross the Turner Turnpike based on that. And winds in here have come down in and around it, I will say. I mean, back when this was in Logan County and approaching Guthrie, winds were 80 to 90 plus on radar. 80 to 90 plus. This is like 50 to 60, so it's weaker. If it touches down, if it's on the ground, it will be a weaker tornado, but a tornado nonetheless. So take it seriously. Let's zoom out some and let's see what's going on now and kind of work our way down the line. Check back down here where we did have the little protrusion, if you will, trying to take out the little hook, trying to stick out near Newcastle.
Still seeing it, but also still seeing that gust front right ahead of it. So
yeah, it's almost like it goes in, it tucks in, and it's controlling it right there. It's wild. Also over Moore, there's a little hook over Moore, but Moore, you have the gust front out ahead of it. That will not be able to produce a tornado unless it, that just went away, unless it tucks back in. The gust front is out ahead near Tinker, near Woods, back up to Hara. So folks from Norman to Newalla to Thunderbird, this is a severe storm. Winds in here 50 to 60 miles per hour coming to town. And right now, not tornadic. That can change, but as long as the gust front stays ahead of it, that's a wonderful thing. Hail within it, we have not had much in the way. Have you guys seen hail reports from much of the metro? Nickel dime size hail, but not even seeing much of it. Even when some of these bigger cores passed over our storm trackers, they weren't having much in the way of hail. It is wind and very heavy rain. The way that these rainfall rates are, we know we can have anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 inches of rain in isolated spots, and that can lead to significant ponding, and we want you to be safe on the roads. So even though the wind portion may pass by and the severe threat goes away, be careful traveling in and around and behind this line. Meeker at 5 a.m., Pink at 5 a.m., 5:15, Shawnee at 5:22, Tecumseh at 5:27, Little at 5:32, Okemah at 5:41, and then Seminole at 5:47, Wetumpka at 6 o'clock in the morning. So by 6, this is all the way over here into Hughes County. That's how fast it is moving. But right now, we saw the ongoing tornado warning for Lincoln County, no tornado warning for Oklahoma, Cleveland, McLean, back into Canadian or Grady counties. Let's go back further west and just take a look, Andrew, for folks out here. Nothing even severe. This whole area has just fallen apart.
I will say there's nothing severe, but there was a report a little bit earlier from Mangum. You see Mangum's not in any heavy precip, but there was a report from Mangum of a heat burst.
Okay.
So it's in that anvil of that storm near Childress, Texas. And sometimes you can get heat bursts that from the anvil bring in those higher winds from much higher up in the atmosphere. So there's a heat burst. I think it was like 50-something miles per hour. It was a little while ago.
Okay.
But they had a strong wind gust, even though they're not in, obviously, what's the strongest storm in the state right now.
That's wild. Heat bursts. And we get them. We get them in the spring. Some springs we get a lot of heat bursts, but those are always wild with the wind and, of course, the temperature spiking in the overnight hours. We have the thunderstorms moving through, the tornadic circulation. Right now, it is not on the ground, but the tornado warning continues for Lincoln County. Val is closing in on it. Brandon's closing in on it. And I know at the news desk, Colby and Robin, you guys are keeping an eye on things. You have more. We'll get a quick update.
Hey, just a hearing from the Sheriff Devereaux saying in Cimarron City, Lacey, there is damage. Lots of trees down at this point. We're also watching the power outages. I think you have the latest update, Colby.
Yeah, it looks like right now we have probably looks like about 406 in Kingfisher County and close to 1,000 in Logan County. So folks may still be waking up and may have not reported that just yet.
Yeah, it's kind of a rude wake-up call, Lacey, this morning. How are we doing right now?
So we have another area of circulation that we've been watching, that line. We just get these quick protrusions that happen, and then all of a sudden, boom, that sticks out ahead of the gust front. So these little QLCS scenarios, that's the one we've been watching. And and now it looks like it has gotten just far enough out ahead of the gust front for a tornado warning. This could be a developing tornado. It would be very quick. They happen. They are like a drill bit. They come down fast just to the south of Newcastle. Hank is right there. Hank, you've been watching this area. We've been talking about it. Let's send it out to Hank Brown now. Tell us exactly where you are, Hank. I see you going through the parking lot, getting into position to get us that view from your camera. You've been watching it. Go ahead, Hank. Hank, can you punch Hank, please? Sorry, Andrew.
And so here's one thing for folks to know. This is all moving so fast that it's almost impossible to see and keep up with. You're not really going to go out on your porch and look and see it coming. This line is really moving fast. So I'm just west of the river wind on Highway 9. I've kind of positioned myself where this appendage should run right over the top of me. So you can see the base coming into my shot there when lightning lights up the sky there. Right now, I really don't see a whole lot of anything, but one thing to note where I'm at is, well, I do have a little bit of a lowering just above that sign, so like straight ahead of my shot. I have no outflow. I have warm, humid, moist air that's barely moving. So I do hear the tornado sirens going off in Newcastle right now. That's a good deal. And so right now where we're sitting, we do not have outflow. So this storm is alive and it is breathing, and it does have the potential that could wrap back into this gust front here. So we're right here as it heads down towards Highway 9, as it heads towards the Riverwind Casino. I can see a couple of lowered areas in the shot, but I don't see anything that's indicative of a funnel at the moment, Lacey. So I'll stay here, and it's going to, like I say, it's going to run right on top of me here in the next minute or so.
Okay, great job, Hank. And Hank is the best, seriously, at this exact scenario. Whenever you have to get down, find these little appendages, hone in on them. They happen quickly, they spin up quickly, and he hunts them down. So Hank will holler if he sees anything. I want to show you on radar where this is. Tornado sirens are sounding in Norman. Tornado warning for Norman for just to the south and east of Newcastle. Includes the Riverwind Casino. If you have friends or family in and around the casino, safe spot. They've got to get there, and they have to get there now. This could produce a tornado very quickly. Andrew has highlighted exactly where the circulation is. This right where the tornado touched down? It is. Was that Tuesday?
It's very, very close, yeah.
This is almost, it is. It's southeast 32nd. This is the exact location where we have tornado damage and a confirmed EF1 tornado from Tuesday. I mean, it's almost the exact streets. That is wild. How many days ago was that? 3 days ago? 3 days ago, we had an EF1 tornado right here. That is nuts. I've never seen that. It's literally the exact same spot. Okay, so for folks, we're doing it again. Canadian River, it's about to cross the river. If it is on the ground, it is a weak tornado, but it could be. The circulation is tight. Look at it. Look how the gust front is tucked back into it. Hank, go ahead. I see your shot. Give us an update. The tornado warning continues. Hank, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a really large lowered area just north of me. So, yeah, just where that little tornado was a couple of days ago, it's about 3 miles east of there. You can see there's a lowering right above that building in my shot right there. I've got a pretty good pronounced bowl lowering or funnel. Matt Randall, Riverwind Casino, take your tornado precautions. This is going to be at about Western and Highway 9, Lacey. It's right there in the center of my shot. It's going to run right over me. I've got a big bowl funnel that's 3/4 of the way to the ground. So count this as a tornado. So if you live anywhere near the Riverwind Casino, anywhere from South Newcastle, east of Highway 62, down to Highway 9, down to the Riverwind Casino, take your immediate tornado precautions. Right. It is right here. Lacey, I don't know if you can see it in the shot.
Yeah, we can absolutely see it, Hank. It's an incredible shot. We can see it.
Yeah, this huge bowl lowering. So there's, I think this is actually considered like northwest Goldsby, far southwest Norman. So there's a lot of homes out here that are kind of scattered, that are really nice neighborhoods that are scattered out here. So take your tornado precautions. Anywhere on Highway 9 from Highway 62 to I-35, it's going to be closer to the I-35 side of it. It's probably somewhere, it's going to come across somewhere probably about Western, give or take, as it's moving kind of to the southeast right now. And it's moving so fast. You can see that I keep moving the truck because it's moving so fast. So I don't see any power flashes. I don't see a funnel all the way to the ground, but Yeah, there's a huge bowl lowering that's coming right on top of me. And just now I'm starting to get some outflow, so that's actually a good sign. But it's still very warm, moist, humid, muggy air, so we can't let our guard down just yet. This whole area right here has got a multitude of lowerings. But yeah, right here in my shot, it's going to come right on top of me. So if it tornadoes, I'm going to ride it out with you guys. But yeah, it's right here at the Riverwind, just west of the Riverwind, Lacey.
Okay, the best of the best, as always. Hank, stay right there with it, and please be safe. I know you and Patty will, and stay up with it as well, because it is moving, Hank, every bit of 40 to 45 miles per hour. All right, control room, let's leave Hank shot up and watch. If he sees power flashes,
strong outflow.
That's good. That is good. The storm hasn't got to him, and winds are hitting him from the storm. That means it's gusting out. But let me show you on radar where it is. Okay, let's zoom in a little tighter here, Andrew. We'll leave the storm track on, but then show people. Here's Highway 9. Look at the hook. Is that not wild? And Hank has winds hitting him from the storm, not winds feeding into it. That's good. That means it may be weakening, but this can produce a tornado. We're just going to continue with this. Here's the storm track. It's moving to the southeast. It's going to go south of downtown Norman. It's going to go likely south of Highway 9. We'll see, but he's included. The Lloyd Noble Center, great idea. 503, Noble at 508, Slaughterville at 518, Lexington at 518, the Muldrow Airport at 524, and Etowah, if it's still doing this, at Etowah, 524. So in the next 20 to 30 minutes, that's how quickly it is moving. Folks in Cole, you need to be watching this as well. You're included in the tornado warning, but it looks like it will go north of Cole. Let's zoom it in, Andrew, and we'll clear that off and just lapse it. And let's take a look here. And Hank will holler if he starts to have anything change with this. Getting outflow is an excellent, wow, look at the hook. Look at the hook now. It is now south of Hank. It is now south of Hank, and it is headed towards Goldsby. Folks, in Goldsby, you just have a few minutes before the circulation passes right over you, and it could produce a tornado. We're not seeing the gust front lunge out ahead of it to where we can say you're in the clear. We are not there. This hook is serious. What does it look like on velocity data as far as the spin goes with it? Not a lot on velocity. We've lost it almost. So it was tighter whenever Hank was first hollering about it. And then, of course, the tornado warning came out to follow. There it is. As far as velocity goes and looking at what the winds are doing and spinning around it, it looks a little more threatening on reflectivity and in the rain than it does in the wind field as far as the spin goes. Anything on debris detector, Hank would be able to see if we had it on the ground. Look how close Hank is to that. My goodness, he's right there. Nothing showing up in the way of debris. Let's go back to Hank. Hank is right. I'll zoom in here. Let me just give his streets real quick, Andrew. Sorry. That's going to be Highway 9 is where he is, and it was 24th, right? It's kind of wonky whenever you zoom in. Zoom out just a little bit. Let me see what it does. There we go. Northwest 24th is going to be the street just to Hank's west. And Hank, the circulation is just to your southwest by like a half mile. Go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, Lacey, there's another area I'm watching that's just to my east that's coming across, kind of where it's the eastern or north part of the wrap-up. Look at the rain curtains that are starting to come around. Mm-hmm. I'm shooting this into the light. That is just west of the lowering of where it's wrapping back up. The good thing about that is those winds are coming from the north, albeit maybe a little bit northwest. So the danger, if there is a tornado, that danger is moving southeast of me. It's moving in on Goldsby. So Washington, be ready, be thinking that this could be coming your way as it heads south. But yeah, right now I'm getting strong north winds. So I'm just on the north side of the circulation. So strong north winds. Like I say, the good thing was I did have outflow right as that lowering came across me. So that hurts the chances of a tornado, but you can't let your guard down just yet because these things, it just takes a second for it to spin back up and get a little bit of inflow. Lacey, back to you.
Okay, great update there. What Hank was saying about the outflow, it doesn't take much. Just like what we were seeing, we kept showing you that area we've been watching. Hank's been watching that all morning, and it kind of would stay just behind the outflow or just behind the gust front. And then all of a sudden, it poked out a little farther, and that's all it took to start to spin up and for the velocity to really increase with it. Hank was right there. It got very, very close to touching down. If it it didn't touch down. His lowering was very, very low, and that could have been yet the third tornado of the morning. We'll just have to see. He did not have power flashes. Hank's going to get right back in this. It's moving at 45 miles per hour. Let's go back now because we still have the tornado warning in Lincoln County. Folks to the south of this, you need to be in your safe spot and take it seriously. Here's the tornado warning, though, up into Lincoln County. This is crossed over Chandler, and we're still seeing very broad circulation with this. It is nothing like what it was when it was tornado warned, when it produced the tornado back near Crescent that Val and Brandon were on. That was headed right towards Guthrie. Guthrie, we'll have to see as far as power outages and wind damage go, because you still got the wind, but it looked like the tornado circulation went north of you, and it looked like the strongest winds went south of you. But folks, south of Guthrie, there's probably some damage due to very strong straight line winds. Now not seeing much. Here's Stroud. Here's 377 and Arlington. There's Sparks. And with that, not seeing anything too organized at all. That's looking a whole lot better. I mean, this was spiking at 80 to 90 mile an hour winds a bit ago. It's a whole lot better. We're going in the right direction here, and this tornado warning for Lincoln County will likely go away as this crosses over into Creek County and Okwx County in just a little bit. So we're still watching it. Folks in Arlington, it's still an area where you can have 55 to 65 mile an hour winds. What along the line, Andrew? We're hunting down any of these little circulations this morning, watching for any little appendage that can pop out from these kind of QLCS scenarios, what we call it, quasi-linear convective tornado, basically, is what that is. So it's an area of spin that pops up right along a line like that. Okay, that's why the tornado warning is in effect. Norman, you're good. Norman, you are in the clear. You're going to get wind. It's going to get loud in Norman. Sirens went off, woke you up from the OU campus all the way down to Highway 9. This is moving south. This is moving more south of Norman. But Goldsby, it is coming into town right now. It is still wrapped up. What does velocity look like now, Andrew, with that? Still there, right over Goldsby. Right over Goldsby. There's Highway 74 and 280th Street is going to be the circulation just north of there. Went right past the David J. Perry Airport. And it is now, the shear rate has it right where the circulation is, just north of Goldsby. It looks like it would be fairly weak if it touches down. It does not look like it's on the ground, but that can change so fast. These types of scenarios, usually the second it starts to show up on radar, it's already getting low to the ground, if not touching down. That's how fast these types of systems happen. It's not like the big supercells that we're tracking further north embedded in the line. This is a little area not connected to a huge mesocyclone. It's not that type of storm, and usually they're weak, but sometimes these types of scenarios, these types of tornadoes can be strong as well. So Hank is right there. Hank, it's to your south now. It looks like it's coming right in on Goldsby. I see you on 35 blasting south right now, and this is going to head eventually between Goldsby and Washington and make its way down towards Purcell. Down towards Purcell is where it's headed. We'll see what it looks like by the time it gets there. How far is that from Purcell, real quick, if you can just measure it? I know these areas had big storms this afternoon, well, yesterday afternoon. 10 miles, Purcell. Let's go back to Hank. Hank, looking down to your south, I know you're looking for power flashes, anything crazy. You're in the rain. Give us an update, Hank.
Yeah, Lacey, the one bad thing, you can see the wind is blowing from left to right across my windshield here. That is from east to west. So that is not a good sign, because that means that it is trying to get some inflow again, pulling back into it. So basically, I'm driving through kind of some quasi wrapping rain curtains. The tip of this has to be just here out my windshield. I don't really see much in the way of a lowering. There's not really any visibility, so I can't see. There's not a lot of lightning with it. I'm not seeing, that big pronounced lowering again. But I just went from north winds to east winds, and now I've got no wind. So I am right at the edge of that circulation. Right above me is what I think is the lowering. See if I can raise the camera here. It's really, there's just not a whole lot of lightning, so I can't really see the base of it. But that is not a good sign that I started having a little bit of inflow. So Goldsby, yeah, it's on you. Be thinking Washington, Slaughterville. Wait, I just took a big wind gust. Which way are the winds going? Oh, I'm getting northwest winds now. So There's an area of spin here, so just in that mile, my winds have went back and forth in different directions. So just anybody in the line of this, and it's moving fast. It's you can't really sit around and look at it very long. It moves pretty quick. So right about Ladd Road is where I'm at now on I-35. Oh, I've got a big lowering. Yeah, let me get off the highway here and turn the truck around. I've got a big lowering just here to my east, just on the east side of I-35. So give me about a minute. Let me get a shot and then holler back at me.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much for that. And he's going to get a better shot of the lowering. He can see it just right there. He's actually been kind of in and around the circulation, staying right there with it as this is approaching Goldsby. So let's go back to radar real quick and I'll show you where that is. Andrew's kind of marked where it is and he's got the outflow coming out and there's the hook. It just went south of Goldsby. Hank is looking right here and that's going to press down towards Washington. It might go, oh, there's a GPS just up there. There we go. He's literally right in it. The winds are changing direction over Hank as he stays up with the circulation just south of the town of Goldsby. And it's moving kind of southeast, right, Andrew? Still headed down, kind of paralleling I-35, headed down towards Purcell. Yeah, this is going to Purcell.
All right, there's the shot. There's the lowering, Lacey.
All right, Hank, go ahead. Go ahead and talk about that, what we're seeing. We can see it in your shot.
Yeah, this is Atkins Road or Ladd Road. It's just moved just east of I-35, so I am just west of that circulation. You know, as I was telling you viewers, I felt that wind change around, so I knew I was right there on the edge of the circulation. Right here where I'm at, just north of Washington, just south of Goldsby, I'm getting strong northwest winds. So I'm on the backside of it. We would expect that, but you can see there's a huge lowering. So it's going to move east of Washington. It's going to move closer to southwest Noble, and then towards Slaughterville, and then, you know, a few minutes down the road, north Purcell, be thinking, you know, that it's going to be somewhere near I-35 and Purcell. I just saw a flash, but I don't know if that was a power flash. It might have been lightning. I'm seeing some flashes right there on the right side of that sign. I don't know if that is lightning or power flashes. There's some trees in the way, and I can't really tell, but I've got, like I say, you can see that lowering. See how low that cloud base is? That little light spot you see right there is the tree line. So this thing is hugging the trees. That is a big pronounced lowering. And it's right where that reflectivity is showing that little bulge coming out, that little curl is coming out. That is going to be right here at Ladd Road, just on the east side of I-35. So I'm looking just to the northeast. I'll back it out, see if you can get a little bit more light. God, if this was daytime, this would be a crazy shot. You would be thinking, oh, my goodness. So anyway, this is just on the east side of I-35 right now, but I-35 does curve back to the southeast there. So Purcell, don't think you're out of it just because it's on the east side of I-35, because it's actually heading for you. So southwest Noble, far northeast Washington, Slaughterville, Purcell, heads up. This is coming your way. And even if it's not producing a tornado, I'm getting very strong winds and very blinding rain if you're trying to get out to go to work this morning, Lacey.
Yeah, severe storm, dangerous storm to be traveling in. Just let it pass by before you head out. Whatever you got to go do this morning, just be a little late, okay? Do not get out and travel with this storm coming on through. Let me show you where it is on radar. This is going to be just to the south of Goldsby, and it is making a beeline to the southeast, and this is the gust front. The green line that you see right here is the gust front. So what that is the winds rushing out away from the storm, and that's a north wind. It's a cool wind. You can't get inflow, which means you can't get a tornado when that happens. But see what's going on with this? This has been going on since, Tuttle? Before that even, I think, is when it first started to kind of stick out and protrude. It keeps trying to pull the gust front back into it, and that's where you could get a tornado. That's why the tornado warning is out and continues, and this is going to go. It includes Washington. It includes all the way down to Woody Chapel. It might go more east of there. It would have to kind of turn right. But look what's happening down here, Andrew. Another area near Dibble where the same thing is trying to happen. But the gust front, this is another area of circulation south of Winter Creek. But that is a Country Club, that is. That's behind the gust front. That won't do anything. Both of these areas are very similar at the moment. So from Dibble, just to the kind of east of Dibble to the south of Goldsby, 2 areas, and the tornado warning continues here. Noble, it looks like you're in the clear. I think this is going to go south of Noble, and let's work our way up the line a little bit more. Look at that. Look at that punch of wind from Stroud to Prague, back down to McLeod. Wow, that is so much water and not much in the way of damaging winds making it down to the surface level. So that's good out of that. And then the circulation from the tornado that we had earlier in Logan County that Val and Brandon were on is right here south of Stroud. And it still does not look tight at all. It's still got showers pulling into it. It is still spinning. It's a big mesocyclone. It's an embedded supercell along that line that is still spinning, and that's going to move into Osage County. But that area has weakened drastically.
And there was a gust of 52 in Chandler from this part of the storm.
52. Okay, so just below severe limits, and if that'll get your attention in the middle of the night for sure. What about power outages, Andrew?
Power outages are on links 5 right now. Greatest county power outages, we're looking at Canadian County, over 3,000, officially 3,400. I know the computer says 3,000, but 3,400 customers without power. Statewide, as our system catches up, and then you start adding up numbers, some of the counties aren't included, but statewide, 8,000 customers.
8,000. That's a lot of folks in the dark right now with that line coming on in. So you can see the storms were severe as they came into Harper County. They kind of were tame. I mean, they were strong. They were severe moving through the northwest. Then boom, the Ponca City storm fired up, had big hail with it. That produced a tornado near Marland this morning. Then the next storm down the line that started to strengthen moved through Logan County, produced a tornado south of Crescent that was headed towards Guthrie. And we may have had another one just to the east of Newcastle. It would have been brief. Go ahead, Andrew.
I was about to say, I've got those preliminary tornado reports on links 3.
Okay.
Obviously, the one that's least certain is that one in the South Metro, but on links 3, it's got the other 2 that we saw. The one farther north from that storm, that was near Ponca City. That was the first one, and that one near Crescent and Guthrie. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, this was the first one. That storm crossed 35. That was a very strong supercell as well. Big time hail with it. And we know we have damage east of Marland across the highway there. And then it weakened as it got over towards the river and moved into Osage County. The next tornado was the one coming out of Kingfisher County, crossing over into the southwest portions of Logan County, crossing south of Crescent. And then also we may have had a tornado that Hank was on back near Newcastle. He did not see power flashes. Velocity did tighten up quickly. It may have not hit anything, and it may not have completely touched down. But either way, the circulation was tight, and that's the storm that we still have this morning ongoing. And the tornado warning that remains in effect is due to that circulation. Came right across Newcastle, right across the exact same area where you had the EF1 tornado 3 days ago, or very near, within a mile or 2. And now this is what's left of it. Right here, right, isn't it? Yes, there it is, right there. South of Noble, just to the west of Slaughterville. And what's our Dibble one look like? Nothing crazy out of that. But notice how the gust front snakes out. It's getting out several miles ahead of the storms. Up near Pink, up near Lake Thunderbird, down to Noble, no tornado threat when this happens. But when it tucks back in, like right here, that's where you get the chance for a brief spin up. And it looks like it's kind of getting cut back into the storm, tucked back in, and the gust front is catching up with it. It's not as strong at all compared to what it was. Let's go to Hank, though. Hank, I see your GPS. I think it's behind just a little bit. But give us an update, Hank, of where you are blasting south there on I-35 and what you're seeing with that circulation. How's that lowering looking now?
Yeah, Lacey. So I've just got off at the North Purcell exit, so north of the Purcell High School. The lowering there's a big lowering, big base just to the east of the highway there. So it's going to go just to the east of like where the Purcell Hospital is or the Purcell High School. I'm getting up here where I can turn around and get you a shot of it. But yeah, the biggest lowering is going to be just up here to the east side of 77 as I got off the highway. Sorry, let me navigate here and turn around real quick. So the tornado sirens are going off in Purcell, so that's a good thing. But it looks like, if I can get turned around here, the lowering is going to be just east of the exit there. So the I-35, Highway 77 Purcell exit, where that split is, I saw that big lowering right above this building here. So let me see if I can get the camera back on it. If we can get a little bit of lightning help, we'll see it. My winds, I do have some northwest winds here. As I was trying to punch out in front of it just a little bit, I did get some easterlies, so that is inflow. But right now I am getting outflow, and when I say outflow, it's not a true cold outflow. It's very warm and moist and muggy here right now. So, you know, it's still got an environment it can live in for sure. So we'll see there. You can see that lowering. I'm sorry, I know there's some light pollution there, but you can see that lowering kind of right there above that building on the left when the lightning lightens up. I'm starting to get hit with strong outflow again, probably upwards of 30, 35. So it's going to be, folks, it's going to be east of Highway 77. So as I'm sitting at the very north edge of Purcell, it's moving to the east-southeast from that exit. So it's going to be the east side of, we just had the power blip here. I didn't see a power flash, but the power's going off and on. So at least, I just saw power flashes. So there's power flash, and it may be wind-induced power flash, but nonetheless, no. I think it's on the ground. Right there, Lacey, in the center of my shot. That's a tornado on the ground. So just on the east side of Purcell.
Right there, yep. East side of Purcell,
right
tornado on the ground.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hank. Let's get radar
you
up
go ahead,
if you
tell
can.
people where it's going.
I will. Let's go to radar here, Andrew. Let's zoom it in. You can see it in his shot. Control room, let's keep his shot up. You saw the power kind of going in and out, and then the power flash, and then you can see there it is. There's the cone right now in Hank and Patty's shot. So here it is on radar. Is the tornado warning dropped? There is no official tornado warning on this. This is a News 9 tornado warning. This is on the ground coming into Purcell right now. Let me show you on radar, if we can, exactly where this is. Let's take radar full if we can, control room. Sorry if that was confusing, so we can show people. There's the hook, okay? There is Purcell. It is north of town. It is now crossed I-35. The hook is now crossing I-35. It is east and about to cross the river. Slaughterville, it's going to go just south of you, and this is just, what, a couple of miles north of Purcell, and that tornado, this whole storm, we told you how many times has it done this, where it lunges out ahead of the line and then it eventually tries to spin and tighten back up. No tornado warning officially with this. This is a News 9 tornado warning. There is a funnel all the way to the ground doing damage right now north of Purcell, and it is heading to the southeast. Friends and family north of Purcell, east of Purcell. This is a rural area. Make sure they are aware and they are seeking shelter. Get to the lowest level of your home. It looks like a fairly weak tornado, but it is a tornado right now. There is shear rate locked in. This is heading to Lexington. Andrew will get the storm track on it for you. This is going to go just to the east of Purcell. I think it's going to stay north of the town of Purcell now. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. You need to be in your shelter in Purcell, okay? And this is going to keep heading off towards Lexington, and eventually this portion of the line is going to make its way all the way down. It's going to make its way down to Ada. It's a long way from there, though. Right now, there it is. There's the tornado warning, which does include Purcell, and it does include Rosedale, but it looks like, we'll zoom in once he gets this track done, it looks like it's going to go north of Purcell. Andrew, let's lapse that. It's going to be close. Purcell, lowest level, center part of the home, away from windows and doors. It would be fairly weak, but Hank is right there and he could see it. You watched it develop live in Hank's shot and touchdown, and you could see the power flashes. You could see it throughout his entire shot there, and it may still be on the ground in Purcell. One of the problems is there was power flickering in Purcell. I don't know if the sirens are going to sound. So I'm hearing the sirens in Purcell? Maybe, maybe not. But if not, you've got to be in your safe spot. Down to Wayne, down to Rosedale, and there's the track, okay? Moving into Purcell right now. Winnett at 545, Byers at 548, Stratford at 548, eventually Oil Center by 603. And if it holds together Ada, it'll be in Ada by 617. It's a long way from there. It might get absorbed in the line. The gust front may cut it off, but that is not the case right now.
And Lacey, I'm going to pivot this just a little bit in case it starts to take, because we've seen it kind of at points take a more due south jog, and then eventually it'll take more of an east southeast. So it kind of wobbles some. So I'm just pivoting the track just to see if it catches any more towns.
Great idea. Yeah, great idea. I don't think it'll go to Wayne. Just take it all the way over to Wayne, just so we can include Wayne to let him know the time it'll come to town. 5:33, but it should go. It'll be close, but it should go at least on the north sides of Wayne. Okay, we're being carried by all of our Tyler media stations. All right, if you're listening to us on the radio, thank you. The reason for it, we don't want you to get caught in this. We have tornado warnings. We've had 3 and we've had, well, maybe 4 now. This tornado did touch down. So I think we've had 4 tornadoes this morning. 1 up near Marland, 1 near Crescent, 1 near Newcastle, and now the tornado, which looks to still be on the ground north of Purcell, between Purcell and Slaughterville. Okay, Hank is right there. Hank is driving through Purcell as we speak. And Hank, it looks like it's to your north. The hook is so very evident. Wow, look at how the gust front is pulled into it. There's the spin on street level here, mile by mile. There's Purcell, the town of Purcell. The tornado will be just north of town. It's close. It is so close to Purcell. North of Lexington, crossing, what are these east-west roads, Andrew? If we can get some of those to turn on. It's Highway 77 is going to be the highway that it is crossing. And then we'll have to see Farm Road. It's going to be just south of Bryant Road, and US 77 just to the north of Purcell. And there you can see it. And if you can just turn the warning off, Andrew, we can show folks the homes and the terrain and the population. There you go. So many folks live in here. It looks like a weak tornado. Now it's further south. Cross US 77 is at 84th. Yeah, 84th Avenue Southeast is where it's crossing. Those are your streets. And radar detector and rotation detector has it. What does correlation coefficient look like, Andrew? To see if we have any debris lofted. He'll zoom it out here and take it back just a little bit. Sometimes this product takes just a minute. Not seeing much in the way of debris. It may not be hitting much. That would be incredible. Let's go back to radar, and there you see it. Hank, if you have something, if you're ready, just go. I know you're getting into positions where you can get your eyes back on it going through town. There it is, north of Lexington, just cross 177, approaching southeast 84th Street is going to be the north-south street, headed down towards Spring Hill and the Muldrow Airport. We were talking about the Muldrow Airport just a bit ago. It's going to be close to the Muldrow Airport. And so many folks live here on the east sides of Purcell, east of 77, east of the river, and it is coming right through there. Hank, go ahead. Can you see power flashes in your shot? Have you seen anything else indicating it's still on the ground? It sure looks impressive on radar.
Lacey, yeah, I have not. It almost looks like it's maybe lunged a bit east to me. So I'm sitting here at the river bridge. So for my friends that live in Lexington, you need to be in your tornado shelter. So as Lacey mentioned, I did see that tornado on the northeast side of Purcell. It's moving to the southeast, and it sure looks like that it's going to, I think it's going to go, it is going to go east of Purcell.
Second circulation.
Right now, I can't really see anything. I'm not seeing any power flashes, and I'm not seeing any structure just because of the rain and the fact that, you know, we're still 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's at night. But yeah, I would think it's going to move very close to the Lexington prison, give or take. It's just come through Slaughterville. God, if this was daytime, I think we would all have a much better perspective of it. Right now, I can't see the lowering. So as I'm going across the river, I'm looking for the cloud base. I don't see the lowering. One good thing is I don't see any power flashes either. So that's a good thing, but we still can't let our guard down. This thing looks to be very wrapped up to me. I'm in the backside of the circulation now, so the tornado, if it's still there, should be just east of me, and I'm coming up to the Lexington split there just on the east side of Purcell. So I'm going to keep moving east with it, Lacey, and I'll see if I can get another visual on it. Back to you.
All right. Great update, Hank. What is not good to see are all the folks that are out traveling, seemingly oblivious to the tornado just to their north. That's worrisome. So friends and family of folks in and around Purcell and Lexington, please let them know this tornado, it was on the ground north of Purcell, and it is moving to the southeast, the east sides of Purcell right now. Hank's not seeing much in the way of power flashes. There's not much lightning. Look at his shot. It is dark, but just because it's dark and you don't have, the big rumbles of thunder all around does not mean you don't have a tornado. These QLCS, or these small spin-up tornadoes like this, which is what we are having now, this is the scenario we are in, are very dangerous, and it could be deadly. They're usually weak. They're usually on the weaker side, but you got to be in a shelter. You can't be in a car, and you need to be away from windows and doors and the outside walls, and get as many walls kind of for safety between you and any flying debris. So there's the hook. There's the spin coming between Purcell and Spring Hill. What are these roads in here? So here's 72nd Street in Purcell, or in Lexington, east of Purcell, right through Lexington. And this is going to be 2 miles, maybe. Okay, this could be off by just a little bit, 2 miles just to the east of Lexington. And there you can see Hank moving right through town in Lexington. And if it were on the ground and it were doing damage, he's got a very good vantage point of it. We don't have much on the way of velocity at the moment. This may have weakened some, but it's still impressive. And it is still out ahead of the gust front. Still out ahead of the gust front. Shear rate says it is still very strong and could easily still be on the ground doing damage. Here's the Muldrow Airport. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 miles to the west now of the Muldrow Airport, headed down towards Lewis Road. That'll be next. And if we have the tornado video, that's what this is, the tornado video. Yeah, let's take it. This is from Hank just a little bit ago. Thank you, Control Room. You got that done in blink of an eye, because this was on the ground just a couple of minutes ago. If we have it, let's show it just so folks know in and around the Lexington area, back over east of Lexington, what Hank was seeing. This was at 5:20. Thanks for putting that on here less than 10 minutes ago, and we've already got it re-wrapped to show you. You'll see the power kind of start to go in and out on the homes, and then in some of the power flashes, you'll be able to see the tornado. It was right here, okay? Right here in his shot. There it was. Did you see that? So it was ragged. It was hanging down. That was the tornado. And then you could see everyone lose power. So thank you for getting that video in just to show folks what's going on right now, why we're on, why the tornado warning is there. And this is one of likely 4 tornadoes this morning through the overnight. This storm complex has been rocking and rolling all night long. There's the hook. There it is. It's very clear to see. It's very obvious where it is. There's Lexington. There's Spring Hill. There's Flat Armadillo Road. There's Flat Armadillo Road for everyone. And Lewis Road. It's going to be north of there. It's not on Flat Armadillo Road. Flat Armadillo. How does that get a name of a road? Are there a lot of armadillos that get hit on Flat Armadillo Road? Have you ever heard of Flat Armadillo? No. So the good news is, folks that live there, can you imagine Melon? I'm from Flat Armadillo Road, Oklahoma. All right, there you go. There's the Lewis Road. It is not on that road. It is, though, hugging and riding right down State Highway 39. And it is, let's lapse it if we can, Andrew. I see you building something else, but just put that into lapse mode and we can see the direction. It was moving southeast. Is it still doing that? A little bit broader view. Yeah, it is. It's still moving southeast. This is going to go down through, cross the river, and make its way down towards possibly Box and Rosedale, and then down towards Byers. And then a little further down the line is Pauls Valley. And Pauls Valley got hit so hard with that supercell yesterday afternoon. David and the trackers, of course, were on that storm as it were coming to town with just extreme winds as well. But it's right now looks like that circulation headed further east or further west is not as strong. This is the strongest in the state right now along 104th Street, 120th Street, and State Highway 39, and just north of Lewis Road. Hank is right there. Hank, you're less than a mile is where I have you from that circulation. It's amazing how you're staying up with that, Hank, because it is moving at 40 to 45 miles per hour. I know it's winding rain where you are. What do you see for folks there coming down the highway? Because it is crossing the highway as we speak.
Yeah, Lacey, I'm going to guess that it's just south of the highway. So I'm on Highway 39, and you can see it looks like I'm driving through the car wash. I've got north winds here wrapped in rain that are probably 60 plus. So I'm going to assume that means that tornado is just to the south of me, or at least the meso part or the circulation part of that is. I should be right coming out of the tip of the hook, but I can't see anything right now. It's dark out here, and like I say, the winds are just screaming from the north to the south straight across me. So that tornado would have to be either just south of me or just southeast of me. Well, I bet my winds I bet they're every bit of 70 right now. So I'm on Highway 39, east of Lexington. I just passed a small water tower. I don't know exactly where I'm at, but I'm east of the Lexington a few miles. And oh, wait a minute. Now I'm starting to get some north. So give me just a second here. So the winds are switching around here for sure. I just took a gust of northeast wind, so it was making me stop and take pause for just a second to make sure that this thing wasn't wrapping up again behind me. I can't make anything out in the structures of the clouds. I can't see anything. I don't see any power flashes, but it's got to be south of Highway 39. I've been in north winds here for 3 miles, so it has to be south. It's probably headed towards Rosedale. So community or anywhere south of Highway.
All right, Hank is getting into a bad cell area, unfortunately, but he is right there where he should be. Go ahead, Hank.
You know, these are damaging winds from the north right now, and
Yeah, he's in at least damaging winds. The circulation is now south of Hank. You were seeing it. You saw it live. The winds changed direction right as that circulation passed in front of him and went to the south. It has crossed the highway now. It is now east and southeast of Lexington. Winds, though, even if you don't get a tornado, which the tornado, if it's on the ground or touches down, it would be on the weaker side based on radar anyway. The winds in and around it are around hurricane force winds, okay? So very strong winds moving through this area. And look at the hook. There's Hank. He's absolutely right. It is now to the south, and it is just north of Flat Armadillo Road. And it is heading down towards Corbett and eventually down towards Rosedale. And there is Box. There's the Muldrow Airport. This went just to the west of the airport, and it is moving every bit of 45 miles per hour down to the southeast. What does it look like on velocity now? Because we know Hank has wind 60 to 70. Oh, it's tight. It is still a tight area of circulation between 144th Street and Lewis Road and then Flat Armadillo Road. This area is where the tornado, if it's on the ground, would be. And it could be. It easily could be on the ground doing damage. We know it touched down north of Purcell. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's racing still to the southeast, eventually down towards Rosedale. So it's 5:35 on your Friday morning. We have another tornado warning. We think we have had 4 tornadoes this morning. This storm and this line means business. And this storm, we know we have damage near Crescent, and we know we have damage near Marland up into northern Oklahoma. There's the latest track. Andrew's adjusting that. And I'll tell you, behind the leading edge, you're going to get some blinding rain for a little bit. And then the severe threat goes away, and it's going to be pretty quiet. We'll probably have more rain, more storms develop. But as far as the severe risk, it's this leading edge, and it's this portion of the storm that we're tracking right now. So there's the track, which does include Rosedale at 5:41, Byers at 5:55, Stratford at 6 o'clock, and down towards Ada. Ada, you're not included in the tornado warning, but Andrew, of course, is extending this because this is the direction it's heading, and this area still favorable for these storms to continue to try to spin. And so not in the tornado warning, but this is when the storms are coming to town. Hopefully they weaken here in the next little bit. They're just not doing so yet. 619 in Ada. In Ada. Pauls Valley, you're going to get storms in Pauls Valley. Andrew, let's take this off and just broaden it a bit if you can. This is going to hit Pauls Valley. The storm is. The tornadic circulation, at least the one right now, looks to go to the north and to the east of Pauls Valley. But the line itself is severe, and within it, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. No other tornado warnings in our area. Still a tornado warning up in Okmulgee County that our sister station is on. And we're watching the spin coming into Okfuskee County. That was the tornadic circulation that moved through Crescent earlier. And along this line, we're watching for any areas where the storm can push out ahead of the gust front, and then it will have a chance to spin. And that's exactly what's happening where Hank is. There's the track. Andrew, go ahead and give folks that time for the severe storm.
Yeah, so this track does...
Is your mic on, Andrew?
The track does technically include the tornado warned part of the storm, but I've extended it wider for the whole severe line. Because remember, some of these storms have been producing wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour. Hail threat with this fairly low, but talking about the whole line as it moves to the southeast, continues to move into our southeastern and eastern portions of the viewing area. We're looking at Seminole coming up here pretty shortly in the next couple of minutes. 5:39, Winnett, 5:46, Bowlegs, 5:47. Wewoka, 552. Pauls Valley down toward the southern end at 558. Holdenville all the way over into Hughes County at 603. Wynnewood, 609. Ada, 618. Sulphur, 629. And Stonewall getting out of our viewing area into far southeastern Pontotoc County by 6:34 this morning.
Okay, that's latest on the timing of it. I mean, it's moving so fast. So fast. And if you take that off, Andrew, just real quick and kind of show folks up to the north of what's going on, folks that are waking up in Oklahoma City and waking up across the metro. Nothing severe. Light rain, some moderate rain. Roads are wet. We got a lot of water.
And not even any lightning in this.
No lightning showing up across the metro right now, or across Oklahoma City. That's good. Off to the east, still watching an area of circulation south of Welty coming into Okemah right now, and that is not tornadic, but that's still the area that produced a tornado. The spin is right over Castle. Not tight enough for a tornado warning, but that is the part that we are watching very closely as it moves southeast, because that did produce a tornado a couple hundred miles ago. There's the gust front coming into Seminole and then down south of Macomb up to Tecumseh, Shawnee. Winds in here 55, maybe to 60, but this is the tornadic circulation that Hank has just stayed right on. He's like glued to it as it makes its way down towards Byers eventually and Rosedale, and it's still hanging out south of the gust front. So let's zoom back in here. Tornado warning continues for Box, for Rosedale. This is southeast of Oklahoma City, and there you see the hook. And the gust front, all it takes is for it to stick out just a little bit out of the gust front. It's hard to tell exactly where the gust front is on this particular shot. It may have undercut it some. It might be hanging out just a little bit. What does velocity look like? That'll probably tell us a lot. Gosh, it's probably right on the gust front, because these are the winds going away from the radar. The radar's up in Oklahoma City by Norman. There's the winds pushing away. These are winds feeding into it, and it still has a little bit of circulation over Box Road and 180th. 180th. Great artwork there. I like that, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, I like drawing.
Yeah, I like it. There's Corbett. It's very informative. I appreciate it. There it is. Yeah, exactly what I was. Can you follow
For the viewers at home, that was the gust front. That first line. This is the gust front out ahead of the storms.
Yeah.
And then the rotation's back in there. So still, at least looking at radar and velocity, and reflectivity, it looks like it's still got some inflow from the gust front, not completely cut out just yet.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing on radar. You can see the winds kind of coming around and still feeding back into it. And as long as winds are feeding into it, it's still spinning. It is still spinning, still has cyclonic shear with it, which means that it can produce a tornado. And shear rate is just as strong as it's ever been. So the tornado warning continues. South of Box Road, it is now over Edge of the, I love the name of these roads, Edge of the Earth Road. South of Box Road, 180th Street. Folks living here, look at all the folks, all the homes, beautiful part of the state, and it is now 5:41 on your Friday, and you are under a tornado warning. This could produce a tornado. It could produce a tornado. It looks fairly weak. The winds in here are not all that strong, but they are spinning. And when they start spinning, that stretching happens, and the winds can increase, of course, in a tornado if it touches down. It's getting close to the river now, moving south of Box, and now pushing further down to the south and eventually making its way down towards Rosedale. Is it going to go east of Rosedale?
Looks like it, if just barely, but obviously Rosedale is still in the warning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Southeast. Did you say there is a tornado? What'd you say?
Oh, I was just saying it looks like it may go east of Rosedale, but Rosedale's still in the warning. So
yes,
watch
absolutely.
For wobbles.
And what were you talking about further west? Has that been undercut by the gust front now?
That looks like, yeah, because that was back, I think, toward Payne for a minute. It's this one near Maysville. And that one, I mean, you can see the gust front right there.
Right.
So that one's...
So that's the wind pushing out away from the storm.
Circulation again. There's the gust front
again. Doesn't let it feed into it.
It's close.
It is close. So this south of Story, near Maysville, and this circulation is going to head down towards Pauls Valley. Not tight enough for a tornado warning. That's increasing. That is definitely increasing right over Maysville. This is State Highway 19, State Highway 74.
And I think I just heard Jeremy say he was in Maysville.
Really?
I think that was Jeremy.
Okay. I see Jeremy's shot. Well, Jeremy, good morning. We'll get you piped in here, Jeremy. Watching that area of circulation. That's incredible. because there's a hook right now over Maysville and one over Wallville, north of Purdy, and this tighter circulation is over Maysville. So not a tornado warning. It may go there momentarily, okay? And if it gets a little bit stronger, we'll check in with Jeremy here in just a second and see what he's seeing. There is the circulation that Hank is watching, headed towards Rosedale and Byers, now crossing the river in just the next few minutes. And the front, you can see the front, look at it. The wind's coming out from Easton to Box, and then right here, this pulls out and then it tucks back around, and it has a chance to pull in warm air, has a chance to pull in that southeast flow and give the wind just enough of a shift with height, which is what we call wind shear, a shift in speed, and that creates what you're seeing on rotation detector. It is rotating, and it is rotating fast right on county line, crossing down into just to the north of Roseville. It's going to head towards Johnson and eventually towards Byers and down towards State Highway 59. Is Jeremy in?
Let me double check. I also
Yep.
A picture up from kind of the
Go for it.
county area. I don't
Okay.
know if we can take Kylie's shot or not, but we do have our crew just some damage from Highway 33 from
Okay.
earlier this morning. Some
From the
trees down.
tornado that was south of Crescent. Go ahead, Robin.
Highway 33 and Pennsylvania Avenue, so it's kind of moving into that Guthrie area. And our crew there, Kylie, and our photographers just showing the shot that some trees are down, a car was blocked in that area. We've been following their shot this morning. I don't know if we can take it or not.
Rim 101, if control room, if you can take that shot. It's trees down in the Crescent area.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you guys were talking about, those high winds. So a lot of the damage that we were hearing from the sheriff up there near Logan County was that we did have some trees and limbs down there off Penn and Highway 33, making your way kind of to the east there in Guthrie.
About 1,800 people without power right now are being reported in Logan County. Of course, it's a lagging indicator, so we'll see if that number goes up as people start to wake up.
Yeah, so we'll keep you posted, Lacey, on what we're hearing over here.
There it is.
Okay,
that's
there
the
it is.
shot. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is from Kylie Dedmond, and that is tree damage from the tornado that touched down earlier this morning. That was about 4 a.m., about an hour and 45 minutes ago. Val Castor was right there, had it live. Brandon Pennell was right there, and that is going to be damage from that. I don't know if we can get an update for them. They're probably just getting on scene.
Yeah, Highway 33 and Pennsylvania Avenue.
Highway 33 and Penn, okay? And we don't know what all we're going to come across as crews survey Logan County. We know we also have tornado damage near Marland and just east of Marland from earlier this morning as well. May have had another brief touchdown near Newcastle, east of Newcastle, and then also north of Purcell, and we still have a tornado warning ongoing. So we'll check with our crews coming up. Let's go back to radar and get back to the tornado warning, which is going on now, pushing just to the east of Rosedale. This is Oklahoma City. This is well south and east of Oklahoma City. The tornado, it looked like, by the way, in Logan County, if it stayed on the ground, would have gone north of Guthrie, but I think there's going to be wind damage in and around Guthrie and Guthrie South due to the big punch of wind on the backside of that circulation. This is what's happening now. And we're also watching the circulation over Maysville. Jeremy Carter is out. Hank Brown is out. He's been on this. It's looking weaker. It's not as pronounced in the wind field. You can see the spike. What are the winds like right in that hottest query right there? I feel for you. I know what it's like when David points at a query and then you got to follow my finger. I know what you're going through, Andrew. I'm trying to take it easy on you. Okay, 50, you're great. 58 to 60 mile per hour winds is what we're seeing in that exact location. So if there's a tornado, it is definitely on the weaker side, but it's still a dangerous storm, very dangerous, and could strengthen. It can increase for sure as it makes a very quick push here. The winds alone, just the forward motion with this storm, it can have damaging winds. And even around the circulation, Hank had winds anywhere 60 to 75 miles per hour this morning, not in the circulation. So damaging winds coming into Rosedale. There's the spin, and if there is a tornado, that is where it would be. Just across Neal Road, headed south. It's going to go just near or just to the west of Johnsonville and just to the west or near Byers. It's going to be very close to Byers. Folks in and around Byers to the northeast and east, northwest and east of Rosedale need to be in your safe spot. The tornado warning does continue. You need to go to the lowest level of your home. You need to get away from windows, doors, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If it's an interior room like a closet or a bathroom, just go in there, let this pass by. It'll be in and out quickly, and hopefully you don't get any damage out of it. If nothing else, you're going to hear the winds out of this storm. Hank is off to the east of it. He's keeping an eye on it. And then let's watch the circulation a little closer here for folks that's moved south of Maysville, Andrew. And look here at the velocity data of what's happening. Yeah, it's kind of messy. But right just north of Whitebead, that is where the hook had stuck out past the outflow and had come out into a more unstable environment between Maysville and Whitebead. That is, yeah, right in here is going to be the hook. South of the Washita Casino. And Jeremy Carter, we don't have his GPS on here just yet. Oh, I see his shot. It's very dark. There's not a lot of lightning, that's for sure. Not a lot of lightning out there. But Jeremy, you've been out with this storm. Good morning to you, Jeremy. Thanks for going out again. I know you were out yesterday as well. Do you want to get an update from you for folks in Maysville? Because this is headed towards Pauls Valley, and Pauls Valley got rocked yesterday. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yes, it did. So I'm here in Maysville. I got a bit of a lowering. Could be the gust front. It's really hard to tell. I'm just really trying to watch out for the folks of Maysville down here and continue to watch as this presses southeast. Lacey, back to you.
Andrew can take it for 1 second.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get Jeremy's GPS added to radar, which shows him right in Maysville. So that circulation just to the southeast of him. I think Jeremy might be a little under the weather. That's why he probably cut that a little short.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But obviously appreciate the shot very much, getting out on any part of this whole complex of storms that's
all of our trackers have been out. They've been out so many days, so many weekends, so many nights. I mean, so many hours. They've put in hundreds and hundreds of miles covering these storms, and very grateful. There's Jeremy's shot looking at it. You can see the winds rushing out. That's the front that he's looking at, pushing out away, and he's going to keep up with it here. Let's go back to radar, because the tornado warning, it does continue. We're down to the southeast. There's Jeremy's shot. Thank you, Andrew, and his location. We'll just take a broad view here, kind of do a statewide view, just to show folks kind of across the region what we've got going on. We have the tornado warning, but we have multiple severe storms, and this is just the area that we're concerned about also. Not included in the tornado warning. It's not included, but that is exactly how these brief, what we call QLCS tornadoes, quasi-linear convective system tornadoes. It just means they're not in a big supercell isolated by themselves. They're in a line. There's not necessarily a huge mesocyclone with them, but they produce tornadoes nonetheless. That's what this one is, and it has produced likely 2 tornadoes as it makes its way down towards Johnsonville. So the circulation that Jeremy's watching, he's right there, and the hook, it just won't quit. It just won't quit as it heads down towards Johnsonville. And it's now over Ward Avenue and State Highway 59. And it's going to cross State Highway 59 moving southeast. And this is still a rural area. People still live all through here. It's a beautiful part of Oklahoma, and it is definitely a threatening, dangerous storm. If you don't get a tornado out of it, winds 60 to 70, may have gusts to 80 miles per hour. And I know Hank was blasted east trying to get around the river. Where is Hank right now?
He is back in the system. He was having the cell issues earlier, but he is back. He just chimed in.
Okay. Hey, yeah, Hank, if you're back in, thank you. Go ahead and give us an update. Tell us exactly where you are, Hank, as you're watching this to your south.
So I'm not too far away from Wanette, and I just busted out of the corner.
We thought it was good. The cell service is not great. So you can see his shot. He's blasting off to the east, and he's going to try to stay up with this, closing in on Winnett. I think he's going east. Let's go back to radar here and take a look at exactly where he is. We'll go back to links. There he is. Yeah, and he may already be making the south turn. I think he is. I think GPS is off a little bit, but we'll see. This is moving down towards Byers. Byers, the tornado warning is in effect for you, and this is getting very close to town. It's about 5 miles, the way it looks, to the northwest of Byers. Tornado with it, very possible. Not seeing indications that it's on the ground, but look at that. Watch how it does. Just the last scan. There's a gust front right here. Look at the gust front. It goes basically from Winnett back up to St. Louis, and there are winds coming out of the northwest with that, and a northwest wind means you can't get a tornado to develop. But this little hook just stays out ahead of that, and it stays out just far enough that it's tapping into that really warm southeast wind feeding into it, and that allows it to continue to spin and spin rapidly. That area that Jeremy's on is looking even more threatening now. It's protruding out even farther. It may stay, it's gonna be close to Purcell, or Paul's Valley, I should say, Paul's Valley, as it moves in. And what were you looking at there, Andrew?
I was just measuring, because that was only a 30-minute lapse, and it's gone from Slaughterville to northwest of Byers in those 30 minutes. So it's moving every bit of 40 miles an hour, maybe a little bit faster at times.
Yeah, it's
very, very quick moving.
It is hauling. So the wind's out of it, a big concern just because of how fast it's moving. But when it's moving that fast and you get so much motion, the winds get just right or just wrong, and you get a brief spin up and a brief tornado. That's why the tornado warning is out, and that is the hook. That is the culprit for it. And man, it is moving rapidly. Let's look at velocity data and see what that looks like. Still there, still an area of circulation that could produce a tornado at any time. Still not seeing indications that it's on the ground, and it would be likely kind of tucked into the rain if it was on the ground. No indications from debris detector that it's on the ground at the moment. And that is moving right across Johnsonville. It's going to go very near to the community of Byers. You just got a minute or two, Byers, before this circulation is going to move right over you, and the tornado could be doing damage. It really could. We're not seeing debris lofted. It would be weak if it is, but it is very much in an environment just like it was when it produced the tornado north of Purcell. It looks very similar by all indications. The gust front may start to push out. Do you see how the gust front is right here? Okay, and then the hook comes out south of that. So it's pulling in southeast winds and giving it just enough to get it to circulate. Give it that shear in the cyclonic direction, which is counterclockwise, and that's what you need to get a tornado. And Hank's getting into position to get a better view, but his cell service is not great. Wow, let's go to Jeremy's shot really quick and just take it live. You can see the motion in the storm just live here as the storm is moving right to him. Okay, not a time lapse. Jeremy, go ahead. We have your shot. It looks incredible. Tell us where you are now as you're watching that circulation just to the south and west of Whitebead. Go ahead.
Stopped, and I've got several areas of lowering, not any consolidated area of strong spin. I'm watching very close, Lacey. We're going to take this thing right into Paul's Valley and make sure that the tornado don't get past us here. If I can make it happen. Back to you.
Jeremy, be safe, buddy. And if you need some hot tea, you know, you get it. I know that you're a trooper and you're sticking with it, but my goodness, you've had a rough several weeks. Look at that. That's the storm rushing away. Okay, this right here is daylight that you're seeing, and that's the overhead of the clouds rushing out, and he's watching the circulations. He's watching any little lowerings, any areas that start to spin tighter, not seeing anything in here that's organized. It's kind of all one direction, pushing out to the south and the southeast. All right, let's go back to radar. Let's just take the broad view here, Andrew, the statewide view of what is going on with this big complex of storms that fired up, by the way, here yesterday afternoon, and we've been tracking it. Our trackers have, the team has, mile by mile ever since. We think we've had 4 tornadoes this morning, and if you lapse this, you can see that we have 2 tornado warnings ongoing in the state. One of them, Okmulgee County. The other one is now moving into just now into Rosedale, I believe, just to the east of Rosedale. And there's the line. The line goes from Lawton, approaching Ada, and then extends all the way back to Henrietta and all that's going on in the metro. Let's just zoom in here to Oklahoma City because we're approaching 6 o'clock in the morning for a Friday and folks are trying to get their day going. There's a look at the rain that's happening right now. It's drying out in El Reno, drying out in Piedmont. Some showers, may have a rumble of thunder, but very little in the way of lightning showing up, or at least there hasn't been. There hasn't been much hail in this, but what's the line doing now, Andrew, for hail? We haven't talked much about hail because there hasn't been a lot, honestly. Some nickel and dime size hail, may have some quarters north of Gwinnett, south of Tribby. And as far as any areas that are threatening along this line, the two stick out that we're covering. They do. Nothing really happening between St. Louis and Asher. That's all going to be winds 50 to 60 miles per hour. Back to Romulus, back to Maud. There's the spin near Byers. And then you've got the spin that's coming in to Pauls Valley that Jeremy is on, all the way back down to Purdy. That's going to hit to Elmer City, and that's going to keep working its way to the southeast, moving so quickly. 45 miles per hour has been the speed with this ever since it started this morning. I mean, we were talking, midnight? This was in Harper County up near Buffalo. Now at 6 a.m., it's all the way down here in the southern portions of Pot County, Seminole County, and making its way down towards Pontotoc County. There's the tornado warning. Hank Brown is in and around Winnett. And there's the hook from Johnsonville to Byers, and it's going to make its way down towards, eventually, Highway 177, and will cross 177 in the next probably 6 or 7 miles, but right over Johnsonville, and it still looks just as strong as it has. I keep thinking that in the next scan it's going to get undercut and something's going to change with it, but not much is changing with it. It's holding its own, and that's why the tornado warning still continues for all of these areas. What does velocity look like now, Andrew? Let's see. I don't see as much feeding into it. That's good. I see a lot of away right now. Winds over 110th, and basically north-south is going to be hard to say. It's very rural. The roads, there we go, Sandy Avenue. The winds in here, 50 to 60 miles per hour, pushing away from the radar. And if we could get that away wind to be further out ahead of the storm, it would help to cut it off and kill it. But that has not happened. So that's the hook. And that is where, if a tornado was going to touch down, that's where it would be. We haven't seen much in the way of debris at all out of this circulation, but we saw it on the ground in Hank Shot north of Purcell and still couldn't find much in the way of debris. So hopefully, if it's been on the ground intermittently, it hasn't touched much. It hasn't hit much. Go ahead, Andrew.
We've got a shot, and I think it's on REM 101, of some tree damage.
All right.
In, where was that again? Logan County? Yeah. Penn and Highway 33 in Logan County, tree down on that house there.
And Cedar Valley. Yeah, that is between Cedar Valley and Crescent, right? That's where Hank, or not Hank. Sure, that's where our reporters are this morning. That's where Val had the tornado early this morning at about 4 a.m. So that is likely tornado damage. If not, we know the wind field just south of the tornado, the RFD we call it, the rear flank downdraft, the winds were anywhere from 80 to 90 miles per hour on radar in that location. Earlier this morning. So there it is, Cedar Valley, that's Highway 33 near Penn up in Logan County. Our reporters are there trying to get an idea of what all has happened there structurally. We know we had power flashes, multiple power flashes, some power lines down on the road, and Val Castor was seeing some tree debris being lofted as well as he was tracking that tornado, him and Brandon Pennell. And it was headed right to Guthrie. It looked like it went north of Guthrie if it remained on the ground. Let's go back now to radar, and we'll get out to our reporters in a minute and show you the two hooks, the two areas of circulation. And we just want folks to know in Pauls Valley what's going on, because, man, you were hit so hard yesterday with the wind, with the torrential rain, and the storms that came through. So many power outages, so much damage in Pauls Valley. And now you've got this next round of storms making its way on in. Meanwhile, we've got the potentially tornadic circulation east of Byers. So there's these two areas that we're watching. Jeremy is right there in Pauls Valley. And if we just zoom in here, we'll take a look at where the spin is. There's the highway coming out of town, the spur. They're kind of on the west side, crossing I-35. There's the Jetstream Casino, and circulation has been holding about like this. Not seen it really ramp up any worse than that. It's tight, which means winds 50 to 60 are possible out of it. Not an imminent tornado, but man, the hook, every time I look at it, the hook is just a little bit tighter. It just keeps going the wrong way. You know, you want this to stay flat and kind of tuck back in, and it just keeps trying to wrap harder and harder around on itself. And we'll see what it does. It may not get any stronger than that. It may just hold its own. That's what it's been doing for the last 30, 45 minutes. But the velocity data still shows, and storm and rotation detector shear rate still shows that this thing is spinning. And we can see that. And we can see it in Jeremy's shot. But Jeremy's right there. If it starts to get stronger, of course, we'll let you know. There's the other hook that's happening there. Has the gust front cut this thing under yet?
Looks like it's getting close.
It's getting close.
Kind of spike here.
Yeah. There's a chance.
The gust front.
There's a chance that this is pushed out. The front has finally pushed out ahead of this circulation. Can't call it just yet. You still need to be very, very cautious of this storm and of this part of the line, because this is the hook that developed way back over southwestern Oklahoma City, and now it's to Byers and has continued to just hold its own and stay out ahead of the gust front and stay out ahead of it, which means that it is spinning like a top, and it is making its way back down towards Stratford, and eventually will head down towards Roth, and the whole line is going to make its way down towards Sulphur and Mill Creek, all the way back to Comanche. Meanwhile, we're watching the line as it makes its way into Hughes County, and the tornado warnings continue off into eastern Oklahoma along the same big complex. So let's go into Hughes County. Yeah, let's do that, Andrew.
And I was just giving the wide view there to show you that your eyes weren't to see. I didn't turn off the warnings on that. Just the severe warnings and the tornado warnings for the moment have been dropped. Still obviously have to keep an eye on some of those little appendages, those little areas of spin. But the warnings for now in our viewing area are done. So hopefully that trend continues. That's definitely a positive note.
Okay, yeah, that's a great trend. Great trend. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that with the cores. What do the vills look like, Andrew, along this core? Not that they were all that strong in the last 20, 30 minutes, but the strongest storm is still the one that Hank is on, for sure. That is still part of the line that produced the tornado north of Purcell. And that core is still intense. But along this, everything has just been on this weakening trend. It's kind of like that. These two hooks are kind of the last hurrah with this. What's the lightning doing now? Okay, 300, oh yeah, down significantly from what it was. Still electric, still very loud storms, noisy storms.
And we still have lightning strikes reaching pretty far. I mean, there's a lightning strike southeast of Oil Center.
Yeah, right here.
They are 9, 10 miles from where the rain is.
Yeah,
so
good catch, that's crazy. That's what can happen. That's why we tell you, if you start to hear thunder or if storms are approaching your area, just because it's not raining where you are, does not mean you can't be struck by lightning. And these storms are very electric, and they've been very electric. The lightning count is coming down, but they're going to have lightning with them until they completely push into Texas and die. But the kind of far eastern, or western, I should say, edge of this has fallen apart. It's really through central, south central, and then eastern Oklahoma where the line is the most intense. So the strongest storm is still the one Jeremy's on near Pauls Valley, and that cell has a weak circulation with it. It's tracking kind of east, southeast from Wynnewood down towards Joy and Sulphur. If it keeps going like it's going, it looks to me like it's going to be about like that to Sulphur, but we'll see how it does. It can always wobble just a little bit. That's the strongest part of the storm. That's where winds, because of that circulation, 50 to 60 miles per hour, and could have some nickel and dime size hail. Haven't had much in the way of hail this morning. If you're just joining us here at 6:05, we're still tracking severe storms down to the south, pushing to the southeast. We think we've had 4 tornadoes today, this morning, and we know 3 for sure, and with some damage with a couple of them. And our reporters are out this morning in Logan County near Crescent. Our news trackers are out looking for more in the way of damage from what occurred earlier today south of Crescent, north of Cedar Valley. We know we had a tornado north of Purcell. Hank Brown had that live on the air, and may have had another one near Newcastle. First storm of the night that produced a tornado was the one near Marland early this morning. I think that was like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock this morning. There's a look at the storm track. Andrew has put it on the strongest portion of the storm. Jeremy's right there. This is moving into the Exotic Animal Park at 6:10, Wynnewood at 6:11, Davis at 6:25, Turner Falls at 6:33. More rain falling for these areas, more storms for these areas. And guys, we'll have more storms this afternoon, well, this mid-morning, and then again tonight into tomorrow morning. For your Friday, or what day is it? It's Friday. It is Friday. So for your Saturday, for your Saturday. We will have more storms going on. Sulphur at 6:33, Lake of the Arbuckles at 6:34, Doherty at 6:39, and then Reagan at 7 a.m. That's where the line will be coming up here in just the next 1 hour. So the severe storm, it is continuing right now. Nothing tornadic at the moment. Nothing going that way imminently. Everything has kind of weakened and fizzled. The hook that we've been tracking near Stratford really has been absorbed, finally, within that line. Doesn't mean it can't come back, but we're watching that very closely. Very closely. Andrew, do you have that tornado report map? I see it. What is that?
I do. That's on Links 1.
Okay. Let's go to Links 1 and just kind of show you where we have these preliminary reports, and some of them are confirmed tornadoes that our trackers were on. There's the one near Marland. That tornado touched down, and it was a brief. That thing spun up so fast. That hook developed on that storm, and it ramped up quickly, and it touched down near or just to the east of Marland. We have reports from there of some damage to some structures, to some homes, but it's minor. Then we had the tornado with the storm that touched down near Crescent. That was making a beeline to Guthrie. That storm had winds, the wraparound wind, 80 to 90 miles per hour. Then we had the storm near Newcastle, and then that would have been a brief tornado, very similar to the one from Tuesday. And then we had the tornado that Hank had live on the air north of Purcell. So far, it looks like 4 brief tornadoes. And most of them likely fairly weak. We'll see with the Logan County one. That one might have been the strongest that we saw, that and the Noble County storm. All right, so that's what we've had go on. Let's go back to the broad view on radar and show you here a look at the storms and what's happening, because we got to get to your Friday afternoon. We got to get to your forecast and the big weekend and all the things coming up, and we will. But we want to get the severe weather out of here and the imminent threat that could be very dangerous for you. And I know the news has a lot to get to as well throughout the morning. There's things quieting down, drying out in the northwest. It's quiet now in northern Oklahoma. Still showers. Roads are wet here across Oklahoma City. We had so many areas that have picked up 3 to 4 inches, locally 5 inches of rain with this line. So some ponding, you can bet that's happening. Also some localized flooding is going to be possible, especially in far northern Oklahoma. Most of that will be subsiding here shortly, and we're still going to track this line. Trackers are staying with this as it moves southeast at 40 miles per hour. The severe portion of the line is right over Pauls Valley, headed to Wynnewood and Sulphur. The rest of the line, winds 45 to 50. This portion of the line could have winds to 60 miles per hour. Jeremy is right there with it, and it is going to extend down to Davis and down to Sulphur. So we're tracking it. Our trackers are staying out. We're going to regroup here. We'll get your forecast for you, and we'll have much more from the news desk coming up. As always, Stay News 9. We'll keep you advised.
Welcome back. What a wild morning it's been. You're taking a live look right now. This is a video just near the Cedar Valley area, right near the Cedar Valley Golf Club, just Pennsylvania Avenue, Highway 33, and we know that there was a tornado that touched down in that area. This is damage showing right now from our crew that was there earlier this morning, a tree down on a house, and we've had damage really all throughout that area.
Well, if you've been with News 9 all morning long, we've been tracking tornadoes. It's been a morning of watches and warnings, possibly 4 tornadoes across the state. Lacey and Andrew have been tracking those this morning. We know there are power outages. We're tracking those as well, and it's kind of been a bumpy morning.
Yeah, in Logan County, about 2,000 outages, 3,400 in Canadian County. So we're going to continue to track that. By the way, the sheriff in Logan County, Sheriff Devereaux, says Cimarron City, a lot of damage up there. Lacey, we were just talking about that. Around the Crescent area, a tornado touched down early this morning.
Oh, yeah, we were on it. Brandon Pennell was on it. Bow and Amy Castor right there on it, had it live with the power flashes. They could see the tornado, and they tracked it mile by mile across Logan County. That was headed towards Guthrie. The circulation ended up going north of Guthrie. Don't know if it was still intermittently on the ground at that point. Radar was indicating it was strong enough it could have been. And then the wind field with that particular storm easily winds 80 to 90 miles per hour. We were getting 90, 93 on radar. May not have been that strong at the ground level, but big time wind in Logan County that then moved into Lincoln County. This is what we're left with now. We're still tracking severe storms, still a couple of tornado warnings off into eastern Oklahoma. Our sister station is on that, and we're still watching for any areas of spin. Trackers are on this line as it makes its way through Hughes County, down into Pontotoc County, and then down near Wynnewood. Pauls Valley, you were hit so hard yesterday from the severe storms, and one of the strongest portion of the storm is this hook. Right now, this entire complex is the hook south of Pauls Valley, now southeast of Pauls Valley, and we're watching this. Andrew's running radar here for any areas of circulation. Shear rate still indicating it's got a weak area of spin. Right now, the threats are 50 to 60 mile-an-hour winds and maybe some nickel and dime size hail. The tornado threat, there's hail detector, nothing major showing up there. Hail detector not showing much, haven't had much in the way of hail. It's been the tornado. So nothing tornadic now. This is pushing southeast towards Sulphur and towards Falls Creek and the Davis area. We're on it. I do want to show you some of the video from earlier. If we have Val Castor's video, this was of that tornado. There you go. Look at the rain curtains shifting there. The power flashes in Val's shot, and this was as he was looking south from Crescent, and this storm was hugging Highway 33, pushing off to the east. And we know he had it. He saw it right there live. Brandon Pennell also had it. I don't know if we have the actual tornado video, but it's hard to see the actual tornado in Val's shot. He could see it. We also had the tornado video from Brandon Pennell and his chase partner, Hunter. They were further east of it. If we get that, we'll show you that here in just a moment. But this was earlier. That was about 4 a.m. Here's Hank's video of the tornado north of Purcell, and you can see the lowering there. He kept noticing it was getting lower. Hank was right on that, and he kept saying, hey, it's getting tighter. The circulation's getting tighter. The bowl-shaped lowering he had kept getting lower, and then you'll see the power kind of go in and out, and then you could see the tornado on the ground there. That was north of Purcell at 5:20 this morning. So we'll take it back to the maps where we've got the radar updates, or the tornado, preliminary tornado count. Wait, links was that, Andrew?
That's still
4. Okay, links 4. There it is. You can see the preliminary count. We know we had a tornado early this morning up near Marland. It did damage east of Marland, around the Marland area. It was brief, but it did touch down. There's the tornado report from Logan County. Now, Newcastle, we had another, that was the circulation that Hank was on the first time it really started to tighten up, and he was jumping and hollering, hey, this thing is ramping up. May have had a brief touchdown near Newcastle, and then the next one was the one north of Purcell. And we don't know how many other reports from eastern Oklahoma. Our sister station has been on the air all morning covering multiple warnings, and we're still watching the circulation south of Pauls Valley. So let's show you a future next gen of what we're expecting as we go through the day today, because it's your Friday. We're drying out in OKC as far as the severe risk, and as this line pushes southeast, I do think we'll continue to see rain develop out west. That'll try to make its way into central Oklahoma through mid-morning. Likely not a severe risk with this, but it'll march off to the east, keep us cloudy, keep us soggy, keep some rain around, and then thunderstorm chances bump up this evening and tonight. And another complex of storms tries to push in from the north, and it will have a chance to be severe. So 70s, 80s, we'll see some temperatures today that are on the warm side for sure, and it will be along that boundary. We really have to watch for additional circulations. The tornado threat as we head into this evening and tonight, it's not zero, it is low. It was low this morning, and that's why trackers are out. We will not let any of these storms pass on by without bringing you those updates. It's important that you know what's happening. So while our rain chances are likely this morning, I do think they taper off, and your Friday afternoon is mostly dry. Tonight, that chance bumps back up to 100%. 70s for your Saturday, hot on Sunday. A few scattered storms possible for your weekend, but it's not a washout. Another complex tries to move in Sunday night into Monday. That could also be severe. We're still watching for areas of flooding. We've had so much waterfall across Oklahoma over the last, 12 hours, but especially over just the last week. It's been so wet that we'll have to watch for flooding with every one of these rounds of storms. Back to the 80s next week, guys, and some showers and storms continue at the end of your 9-day. We'll watch for that severe risk. Trackers aren't going anywhere. They're still out, and if we need to, we'll get right back to you. Send it over to you at the desk.
Sunday, we're going to take game 2. They're going to play hard.
The series isn't 1st to 1, it's 1st to 4. So we have 4 more games to get. They have 3, and that's just where we are.
The Thunder face a crushing loss in Game 1 of the NBA Finals with that last-second game winner from Pacers Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, this is Halliburton's 4th game-winning shot. He's hit one every single round of the playoffs, if you can believe it. News 9's Steve McGehee, Dean Blevins, and John Holcomb were all there to witness it. Here they are from Paycom.
Hi, everyone. Dean Blevins here, Steve McGehee, John Holcomb, and I did my part. I covered the Thunder for the first, 47 minutes and 59 seconds.
Nice
Steve, what
shot,
happened?
Yeah, didn't make shots down at the end. Shea missed a key shot. J-Dub missed a shot as well. They made their free throws, and Indiana turned over the ball a bunch in the first half. They cleaned that up in the second half.
I don't issue item warnings to beat somebody or be ahead of somebody. That means nothing to me. I work for a company that has given me the freedom to do whatever it takes to keep Oklahoma safe. And that means issuing our own warnings.
News 9 tornado warning. News 9 tornado warning.
I make those calls, and I'm able to make those calls because of the technology we have, because of our 1,000,000-watt radar, because of my weather team, because of our storm trackers, because of Jim Gardner. I know what that storm's doing. I know what it looks like on radar. I know what it looks like in the field. We're not going to wait. Minutes matter. Minutes count. And minutes are the difference between somebody possibly being injured or dying. The delay that I've seen it's not acceptable to me. And I think a lot of that goes back to me storm chasing, giving people as much information as early as you can. That's what saves lives. That's why I do it.
David Payne, the Oklahoma weather expert on Oklahoma's own News 9. Keep up with everything Oklahoma on News 9 Plus. It's the ultimate source for all things Oklahoma news and weather. See live breaking news, get important information, and stay ahead of severe weather, all with your locally owned station. Plus, see award-winning Oklahoma's own originals right on your TV. No antenna or cord needed. Download News 9 Plus from Oklahoma's own News 9. Mornings can be tough. One thing goes wrong and your entire day can unravel.
But we are here to help you make a game plan.
We've got your weather. Hail and especially a damaging wind threat.
Breaking news.
Police standoff with guns drawn.
It really is a life or death situation.
Traffic
is moving so very slow.
Nearly at a standstill.
Everything you need to tackle your day here on your locally owned station.
Because great mornings start here on Oklahoma's own News 9 This Morning.
I don't issue item warnings to beat somebody or be ahead of somebody. That means nothing to me. I work for a company that has given me the freedom to do whatever it takes to keep Oklahoma safe. And that means issuing our own warnings.
News 9 tornado warning. News 9 tornado warning.
I make those calls, and I'm able to make those calls because of the technology we have, because of our 1,000,000-watt radar, because of my weather team, because of our storm trackers, because of Jim Gardner. I know what that storm's doing. I know what it looks like on radar. I know what it looks like in the field. We're not going to wait. minutes matter. Minutes count. And minutes are the difference between somebody possibly being injured or dying. The delay that I've seen it's unacceptable to me. And I think a lot of that goes back to me storm chasing, giving people as much information as early as you can. That's what saves lives. That's why I do it.
David Payne, the Oklahoma weather expert on Oklahoma's own News 9. Keep up with everything Oklahoma on News 9 Plus. It's the ultimate source for all things Oklahoma news and weather. See live breaking news, get important information, and stay ahead of severe weather, all with your locally owned station. Plus, see award-winning Oklahoma's own originals right on your TV. No antenna or cord needed. Download News 9 Plus from Oklahoma's own News 9. Mornings can be tough. One thing goes wrong and your entire day can unravel.
But we are here to help you make a game plan.
We've got your weather. Hail and especially a damaging wind threat.
Breaking news.
Police standoff with guns drawn.
It really is a life or death situation.
Traffic
is moving so very slow.
nearly at a standstill.
Everything you need to tackle your day here on your locally owned station.
Because great mornings start here on Oklahoma's own News 9 This Morning.
I don't issue my own warnings to beat somebody or be ahead of somebody. That means nothing to me. I work for a company that has given me the freedom